Good evening, 7:40 p.m., 2/13/2023. Happy early Valentine's Day to you, ladies and gentlemen out there. Please have a safe and fun day tomorrow. But tonight, it's all about summer. We're going to take this back to the very beginning. We're going to take it to where it needs to belong and stay. And that's about this little girl who now would be 7 years old. How long has she been missing, people? Well, June 15, 2021 till now is 608 days. That's 607 and a half days. Too long, people. Let's keep the chat friendly, kind, and as many people in here as we can, because this message needs to go to everybody, right? We're not going to be talking about creators. A new program in set from here on out. Remember, our stance is made. We're here for the victims, the survivors, and the families. We're not here to fund the suspects or fund the hate or the heartless. Wash out all of that mess that you thought this case had, because we're not going to talk about it at all unless it has to come up. And I'll be the one to bring it up and take it down, not you guys. Think tank, baby. Summer Wells is what it's about. Hit the thumbs up or the thumbs down, but just be here for the right reason. That's all I ask. Crime and Justice is in the house. What's going on?
I am here. Not a whole lot. How are you?
You are here. We are here.
We are here.
We started off strong too, right? With a poll.
Yeah, it's good. I like that.
Yeah, see, pre-polling. Again, we have to leave everything. Everything's on the table again. Not one thing that is a stupid question. Not one thing is a bad question. If you don't ask it, that's what makes it bad or stupid, because that would make this, that would make the easy investigation, just to jump back to something that you could feel or know that was brought out by somebody else or something else, whether it was a vendetta, whether it was people trying to create roadblocks. Again, we're going to go back to the playlists. We're going to pull certain videos. If you guys have a question, I'm sure we've covered it. You'll see from the very beginning, things have not changed for us. We've always gone back to the beginning every single day. And that's why I think this is so important for us to do. I think we have the missing pieces, and I think we're going to be looking where nobody else cared to look, or when we got too close or over the target, we received a lot of fire, haven't we?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But you got to become that fireman, or you got to put that flame retardant coat on, right?
Definitely do.
Yeah. Because it's about summer. That's why.
Always.
Sherlock, what's up? So, what do you think is most important in the Summer Wells case to figure out, in any case, actually? And again, you guys, please ask anything. It doesn't have to require a super sticker, super chat, none of that stuff. Like, we're going to try to get to the questions, all that stuff as fast as we can, all that stuff. Just please know that we can't get to everything. What is the most important thing in any case that you do, besides not get, insert yourself into the case, or get too close to certain people? You got to be able to cut, draw a line or in the sand, or be able to cut it off. Like, what's the most important thing to do? Like, starting from the beginning, what do you need to know in any case, from start to finish, like to what's happened?
Well, the timeline is the most important thing.
Yes. Why does nobody want to talk that? Or talk portions of it only?
That's the thing, is you have to fill in those gaps.
Yeah, Sonny, that's right.
In the timeline.
Yes. Why is everybody going everywhere else with the nastiness? Now listen, this case is going to be fun for you. I'm not going to make this not fun, guys. Everything's coming out. I mean, we're going to have fun with Dawn.
I don't know what else she did.
With Candace, believe me, right? Whether it's the real one or the fake one.
Hey everybody, it's me, Candace. I just want to see our...
See, or I'll give you the real one, because everyone should see the real one. This is her new one. This is right after she started the Cash App stuff. I don't know. I think this is the OnlyFans or something. I don't know. Okay. Yeah, they're OnlyFans, whatever.
But
Yeah. Hey, one thing I'm not going to do is I'm not going to be easy on these people. Believe me, we're going to take
No.
everything that we do know and we're going to compartmentalize certain things and we're going to make sure everybody is aware. Yeah. Aware of who these characters are, because this is the months of our lives, we called it. And people started to take our stuff and run with it because they were gaslighting and doing that. And in the interim of that, we never stopped looking at the goal. And the goal was, how do we fill in the blanks? Did this happen? Was she at the swim hole? Did she make it there? Did Grandis make it there? I'll do that right now for you. Thank you for saying that, Raven. I'll slow the chat for you. But yeah, timeline, right? Who was with who is most important. Who was with who at what time? People, come on, get it together.
Exactly, and there are definitely gaps of time that are missing that we've never
and
been able
gaps
to put
of
together.
gaps of people who are missing, right? Well, gaps of people and people who are missing. Yeah, let's put it that way. Nothing's off the table. The abduction is still on the table. As silly as stuff sounds, it's still on the table. Anything, her flying away, alien abduction, put it all on the table. Leave all that stuff at the door that you've had. If you're coming in new, or you're coming in hot in this case, or you're coming in with some kind of agenda, make sure you're just coming in fresh every day, right? Remember where we got the day before, because this is not going to be a one-day thing, right? I can't do it that way for you guys. We spent 16 months on this thing straight, right? Yeah, we're not going to dilly-dag around this.
We did every day for 16 months straight.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out every piece of everything through all the other stuff.
Yeah. It started with this one. Let me share my screen. I might do the one thing I might do is speed some videos up, because you guys you're gonna see you'll hear my demeanor and how I started the case and how I was before this case. I mean, the Cash Garden case in Ornos and West, those affected me, but this one.
Yeah.
Oh, the number one error I always make is I'm on the wrong channel when I want to do premium. I got to change that, or just buck up, Big Shifter, and just get yourself premium on 2 of them, right? Okay. Buck up, Big Shifter. Switch account. Big Shifter. I hated nicknames. I hated when I got, I was, the first time I took my kids to the batting cage, I like some kid in the arm and I called him Slugger, because I thought that's what dads are supposed to do to kids. Yeah, go get him, Slugger. And he's like, you hit my kid kind of hard. I was like, it was courtesy tap. That's all it was. It's called co-parenting. Why don't you learn how to be a parent? No, he got mad. That's what it's called. It's co-parenting.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Group effort.
Is this the first one? See, this is where it gets crazy. Is this the first one? No, this is actually not the first one. Let me do it like this. This will be easier. Let me send myself this. This one's kind of cool because, let me share. Actually, I'll share the screen, what I'm looking at here right now with you guys, because that'll be important. So I'm hearing the first playlist. This one has, I don't know, 311 videos, 2,430 views. Okay. This is when I was just making videos, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And this is a public folder. And this is why it's so sad, because I was looking at why aren't people going back further? Right. Because I have 311 videos in here. And then we have 400 and something in the next folder I'm going to show you. This was nonstop. But if you look at the titles, they got to interest you, right? Summer Wells,
definitely.
Lies, Deceit, Who's at Fault, The Obvious Third Party, Justice for Summer Wells, Dawn and Candace Bly interview. Does blink pattern body language tell a different story? Latest developments in the case, reward money, stipulation, search, rescue. Dawn and Candace Bly guilty of missing Summer. People judging it on their past, Summer Wells, the case, the red truck, is it a red herring? Throw off investigation a couple days. 860 leads that don't pay out. And YouTube subs, start making this craziness, right? Everything you want in here, TBI reports, Summer Wells, what's the motive? Do you think it's money? You know, like, is Don and Candace responsible for Summer's disappearance? Is Don Wells the cult leader? Like there's some really interesting stuff here that just got overlooked so long. First responders and the technology. We had Peace River Search and Rescue come in and talk about the dogs and how it pertains to this case, all the way from deceit to getting taken. Where is Summer Wells missing person recovery case? Where to look? This over a year ago, right? These deserve the 20, 30,000 views that those other people were stealing. Right.
Exactly.
So, like, and unfortunately, it was all thrown under the table, because I do think that it's important looking at Rosemary Bly and things as well. Right. When we have that in here. Right. But innocent or guilty, like, guilty of what? Is Summer Wells alive? Like guilty of what? Like, we can pretty much go with Summer Wells. Well, let's do this. Let's just do this. Let's start with, like, could Summer Wells have been taken? Like, this, I guess this would be the best way to start.
Yeah, that's a good one to start with.
And if I'm on the wrong one, we're just going to deal with it.
What? Nice.
Okay, watch. Yeah, that's creative. We're not doing that. I'm just kidding. That's not what this is. Oh, you know what? This is not what this is going to be, actually. Let's be honest. Or have to control those. So let me just take this one out. Share my screen. Yeah, let's do that.
We'll get
Safer
together.
for everybody right now. We're gonna wing this.
Well,
Listen, I'm far from perfect, and I know this, right? Usually I run a very clean show, but I expected these to run like we're in class. Like, this, we're gonna do this together. We're gonna have to choose what's important, what's really important that we're gonna go with, and we're gonna base it on the theories that everybody has, right? And we have to leave everything open. That's why, like, the third party is so important to think about, or the way that the interview went when Josie was being held under, and this is a very important one, people. If you guys remember how Don had Josie in a headlock pretty much next to, you guys remember that when he's next to the truck, the news interview?
That one made me very uncomfortable.
Yeah, we have that though. But that's the stuff that's
We do.
important that people overlook, right? Because Don, at this point, Don is nothing that anybody's said he is so far, right? We're separated. Anything that you've heard or dealt with, gone. Okay, separate that right now. That's not even in any of these equations. We're taking the SA out of this 100% now. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
We have to.
Yeah, 100%. Okay. So we're clear on that.
We have to until there is some evidence that points to, anything else.
Right.
But at this point, we don't have that.
And we have to go with what law enforcement give us as updates. And I've learned how important that is. It's not only important for the people, but in the case, it's important for the people missing these right away. Because, it's so easy to say, yeah, the parents did it. Because every case starts that way. You have to start right at the immediate front, like the family, right? And then it branches out to the extended family, and then the friends, and then, vice versa. It keeps going, right?
Yeah.
It branches out, and it's starting with either the spouse or the family, or now I'm shutting off my own camera for no reason. Okay, share, share, not that. With this S. You guys remember, we're not mentioning any creators, nothing. You guys keep it good.
Present.
Right. Okay. So, is it possible that Summer Wells was taken? Right. Let's start with the obvious. Everybody wants to say no, it's not. Right. It's so obvious it didn't happen. Well, maybe it is. Right. Maybe it isn't. Right. So, does math lie?
No, never.
Yeah, technically, never. To me, it did. I try not to go with anything that doesn't mathematically make sense, because then you start running wild with every case. So, and it's not fair, again, to the parents here, because, again, I feel terrible for Don and Candace. I don't like them. Let me get one thing straight. I'm not their friend.
No.
I'm not their foe. I'm not on their side. I have no ulterior motives. I have nothing that I want from them, need from them, or will ask them for throughout this case. Now, if Don wants to contact us, there's going to be stipulations, and you're going to be sober. It's only going to be about Summer. There's going to be no cussing. And you're not going to keep blaming yourself for everything, because that's not what this is right now. I don't care what you've done in the past yet. right? It's still on the back burner, pal, because eventually we would have caught on, right? So it's still there. It's not because somebody would have brought it out or made it about something else. We would have caught on, right? So like if there's going to be stipulations, and that's it. And if you don't go by my rules, you know how I work. I cut you off like I did last time, and I don't let you have another chance like these other creators do, because that's not what this platform's for. It's your daughter that we care about this point still. Okay. And that's why we're going to take the time to do this the right way, or at least the way I feel that I can do it the right way. And now that we have an audience that cares a lot more and knows where we stand here, and we're all, it's a safe place for everybody, right? Yeah, we're a think tank. That's right. Listen up. Here we go.
Have taken her from the base. This is as
You guys can tell my voice. I was a different person then.
A little late here, so I'm gonna still try to the old generator and the road and everything, back door. So yeah.
Yeah, it could be quite possible that Don's the pawn, right? Because he said, and we're going to use the stuff that we can factualize. He did say these things. Grandis is the smartest out of all three of us. Grandis, you're on our list too. Everyone, back on the list. Clean slate.
There's a creek down there. See the road in the distance. Definitely tell it's mostly dogs that spin through here. There's the road. Yeah. And earlier today, they said there was, when they come up here, somebody was on a property.
I'm sorry, what, Don? So listen. So far, if we know what we know, which is nothing about these people yet, right? Which at this point we knew a little bit, but right now I'm speaking in the moment, right? We're taking this like, are these possibilities? But in the moment we don't know, right? Yet what's going on in their lives or what their pasts are, just theoretically speaking, right? So Don here is like, I cannot confirm that, right? So Don has this tone in his voice where he could be a really good liar, but I've been a liar, and I've been a bullshitter, and I've been full of shit. That is a fact,
Right.
Okay, that's the way I've always said it. I'm not going to clean the wording up because that's not dirty to me. But that's how I always learned it, and that's what I taught my kids, right? Because then you'll always be able to read who's a liar, who's full of shit, and who's bullshitting you, right?
Exactly.
You can read it, right? And I can sense it. It's always an interrogation with me when I'm talking to people. And when I spoke with Don so many times, and my heart was always in the right place, it was never ulterior motive. And that's why I feel that I could tell you that I had not felt since the beginning Don hurt his daughter at all. Not even knowing what I didn't find out. Like, yeah, that he admitted to himself, that I ever put that into this case until it was forced method. So everything he's ever said. I think Don, it seems like he's a great pawn. He's always working. He's tried to make a difference and change his life. Yes, Grandpa? I know it's you, Grandpa. Who else would it be? It says Grandpa on my phone. Yeah, I washed my hand. Of course I did. Yesterday. Yeah, last week.
Oh.
But I told you. See, I told you I talked to them. Yes, I did, Joey.
Okay.
Okay, call me
Can I call you tomorrow night?
next week.
What?
Okay, tomorrow night.
Okay.
All right, bye. You make it so difficult on me, Joey. Grandpa. That's Grandpa. If you're new here, that's
Oh,
our fan.
we
band.
love
Yeah, it's
Grandpa.
almost- yeah, I got to send him some flowers, some chocolates for Valentine's Day.
Right.
So, yeah, I don't think Don has any ill intention. I think his daughter was his one thing that he thinks he did right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she
Honestly,
loved
I
him.
don't-
She loved him no different. She loved him so different than anybody ever. She just loved me so much, basically. She used to twirl in my hand all the time, basically. It's not my fault. Yeah. He loved her. He just was a shitty dad. And he's a crappy person, right? Like that's that. Right? To me, at least, right? So
Yeah,
I'm taking
that-
he's always been
doesn't-
soft spoken. Yeah, it's been soft.
Yeah, I mean, just, being a bad parent doesn't mean he's a murderer.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's the one thing he thought he did correctly. One thing in his life out of all the stuff. You remember who Don is, right? We all know who Don is. And Don, you're not off the list either, being made fun of because you said satin. Basically, I did say satin, but you've been in jail ever since you've been in a onesie. Like seriously, you've been on probation since you've been 3 months old. Who else has been on that? You have. That's an accomplishment. You know how many states? Like that's you. But you're out. You made it, right? You can't be held liable for everything that you've gone to jail for already. Now, if new things come up, yeah, you have to be, right? And
right.
by the way,
mean, it's how you move on from that and what you do to, make up for that in the future that matters.
so yeah, so how is it automatically? Yeah, he knows he did it, or yeah, he somebody wants him in trouble so bad that somebody really makes it seem like Don did it, right?
Yeah.
But I have some different evidence that I could show you who did see Summer the night before, who was the last person over at the side of that house, and who should be more, can we believe that they were at work all the time and things that they have said? I don't know, because we haven't been able to confirm all of that ourselves, right?
Right.
A lot of stuff has been hidden from us, or said we heard from one sort of channel that everything's been, it's all in TBI, right? It's all over there. So like, how can we not believe that, right? So I've always been on this assumption of, and we're not here to trash the interview room either. You guys are going to be seeing stuff that we play off there that he's let us use in the past for fair use, and I'm grateful because it does tell a big story to us, right? Like, do I feel like it was done in the proper manner? That doesn't matter, right? None of what they do on another channel matters anymore, right? And it never really did until it affected things like this. Right.
Exactly,
So now that we're already finished with that, right? Like, if you haven't noticed, there was a really big send off, right? So like, yeah. So like, we're going to be only being gracious to these people because there's a clean slate. Remember, my slate starts clean with everybody. Whoever else wants to deal with deal with it on the outside, or behind the scenes. It's not the time anymore, right? Everybody knows now. Everybody knows. So just deal with it, right? So move on. So this seems to me like you have to be focusing on the parents first. And I'm trying to do that with focusing on Don first, because this is what we're listening to. Don seems very genuine. He's walking around. He's doing actually what was asked of him. I asked him to do this. I asked him to go on this walk because I wanted to do something for time. Now, is it possible? Because everybody was like, yeah, there's no way they could make it up the driveway and down and out with the kids or whatever like that. And nobody see them. Well, we got lines of sight now, right? Thanks to Chris, right?
Yeah.
And the interview room. So like, again, I'm very gracious for the stuff that we have, and we're going to use it the way we need to use it, but not all of it's the way it seems, right? Because we already know some of the lies that we could fix. So some of the facts that we have to use, and the rest we just throw out. So this is about time. Is it possible? So to the bottom, it only took 40. It takes 45 more seconds. So I think it totals like 2 minutes and 33 seconds. So if you're thinking that this wasn't possible in under 5 minutes or 3 minutes or 4 minutes, from the 2 to 5 minutes that the knee brace was being fixed, right? It is possible.
Yeah, it's totally possible.
So that quick
Calculations.
and this is where the search dog's trail ended. Dog goes up through there.
Oops. Stop that. It says we lost audio. Can you hear?
No, I have no audio.
Could you hear? Okay.
I could hear all the way
Yeah,
up
it says we
until
lost
the.
audio for some reason. All right, let me just fix that. Yeah, I'll just reshare for you guys. Someone's been hacking me illegally. My phone was just I spent the last 30 minutes on with Sprint. I was like, how come my phone says I have no phone number and I have no life anymore? Like my phone wouldn't connect. I had to go to connect to Wi-Fi and use a Wi-Fi number, get a hold of Sprint and
Wow.
get my phone number back. I don't know what was wrong. Last few days, my phone's been under attack. It is what it is. Okay, so let me just share this and we'll finish this part. So is it possible? And here's the final calculation if you missed. Yep, it's possible, but did it happen?
I'm sure an abductor would have been a lot faster. Don took his time. He walked a slow pace. He showed us around. He looked down and up the path. And up to you guys, I think all signs point yes, it's a possibility. This note's investigation.
Okay, so is the abduction off the table? No, it's not.
No, I don't think it can be.
Is it possible? Yeah. Is it possible? Yeah. Is it probable?
I mean,
yeah.
that's definitely something you can't rule out. But I mean, you also can't rule out the possibility that if the dogs did track her scent down through that trail to the street, she could have just wandered off on her own.
Right. Now, that's another possibility. So now that we have the abduction, exactly, and I'm going to let you take the reins here for a second because you're right on the ball with that. So now that we've got the abduction possibility, because that's the number one thing that everybody thinks of, but she didn't get an Amber Alert because we couldn't prove it, right? There's certain stipulations for an Amber Alert. So keep that in mind. It doesn't mean that it's not, that didn't happen. A lot of people just threw it off the table, right?
She did have an Amber Alert because of the red truck.
Oh, she did have the Amber Alert.
Yes.
When did the Amber Alert? Is the Amber Alert not current any longer? Is it?
No, I believe it is it's no longer up anywhere that I've seen it posted. But she did have an Amber Alert due to the red truck.
Okay, I thought that since I always consider that the red herring, and I thought we lost that because of it. Let me see. The camera's okay. So I guess she did have an Amber Alert. Okay, so
Yes.
So we have the whole abduction possibility, right? We have the walk-off possibility, right?
Yes.
What are the other what is the other possibilities that are on the table for us to consider Summer Wells that happened to her?
For me, is it possible that did she have some kind of accident? Did she fall down those steps and then Candace and Grandis covers that up?
So accident theory?
Yep. I think
So we're not going to talk about who did what yet. So we have what theories do we have? Yeah, let's go with what theories do we have? I thought it was taken off early on because they couldn't prove the red truck. So we have the accident theory. Go ahead.
So we've got abduction, we've got walk off, we've got accident.
We got cell, like
trafficking type situation. I mean that definitely I don't think we've moved past that one. Let's see here.
The hidden theory, right? The Underground Railroad theory kind of thing.
Possibly.
Yeah, right. Maybe consider it, right? Because like Don was saying, the bikers could have taken her, or something. Like, we got to go with like what he said so far that we could put into
Right.
facts. Like so, like he named everybody from the Jezebels to the bikers to the meth heads to the cornbread mafia, the Mexican mafia, right?
Yep, he did.
Right. Again, I think that's where Cornbread Candace gets her moves from. I'm just saying it's a good possibility that's where she gets her moves from. Best taste in the world when they bring people over, right? That flag is great, Candace. By the way, her OnlyFans is going. If you want to fund the suspects, again, that's something that you could laugh at because it's not possible to give her an OnlyFans, and we're not funding suspects, people.
No.
But dang it, Candace. Insane. What's wrong with people?
Yeah, Anna, that's another one too. I know a lot of people, and even in
Drowning?
the beginning, we're talking about that.
Drowning?
Something
Correct.
happened at the watering hole. Yeah.
Right. Then let's separate. Can you separate? I think we could separate accident from drowning. Like the drowning theory, like would be like a totally different theory than the accident theory, because the accident theory could be like the roughhousing theory, right? Where the wrestling, the roughhousing kind of.
Yeah.
Let's keep them separate then,
too.
right? We got the roughhousing aspect, right?
Yeah.
The brother sister thing, because we're going to be using that a lot, people, because we don't want to mention. Okay, let me get the one thing straight. This is going to be very crucial to talk about right now, because again, we're here for the victims and the families of the victims, and not the suspects. But like again, it's if some point to somebody under 18 being a suspect, we have to talk about it, and we'll use abbreviations like JW. If you guys all know who that would be, the kid that was in the headlock with Don that I told you is so important that we're going to get to that interview where he, so we're going to use JW, and then Hunter's out. We can just use Hunter because that's been talked about so long. There's no time to confuse anything that we're talking about like that. And I'm not going to make up names like other people do in cases because that makes no sense, confuses people. So those are the two people that we're probably going to mention. But again, it's going to be only in the most tasteful way we can do it if we're bringing that up, okay? And I wanted to make that clear right now because there's a lot of signs pointing to certain directions. And if you go back and you were with us in the beginning, you'll see that there's so many scenarios that we gave you, but the top three, I think we're on to one of them. We're on to one of them.
I think so.
Just the whodunit thing and where is she is the problem right now. And that's why we're together here, right? This is what we're doing.
Yeah,
we got to figure it out. Yeah. Okay, so really now my phone's not working again.
Oh no.
What the hell's going on here? All right, we're just gonna push through this. I'm not gonna worry about it right now. Do you want to remind me what I was doing?
You were checking your phone. I don't know what you were doing with your phone.
Yeah, good. I was trying to see if it was working.
You didn't specify what you were doing with your phone.
I know. That's why when they threw me off, when I'm like, it says no service connected, when I was trying to pull up what I needed to pull up. Oh, okay. I know what I was doing.
No.
I know what I was doing now here. I was not going to freak out right now is what I was going to do.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
What is not freaking out for 5,000 now? Like ding, ding, ding. Daily double.
There we go.
The daily double. Okay. Find the weakest link. Okay. Totally not.
Just have to pull a Nancy and do a little.
All I got to do is play another video and call 611. It would be fine. Okay. So accident theory, roughhousing theory, abduction theory, the drowning theory,
Yes.
the walk-off theory.
Yep.
Right.
Can't take that off.
And then they have the soul trafficked theory.
Yep.
Mini-me,
That
welcome.
one.
Thank you so much for that. Appreciate that.
one.
Yeah. All right. So what else you guys are thinking? What else is possible? The Underground Railroad, the hiding theory, right? Yeah. So there's another one. We got like 9 of them now. Yeah.
That's
touch on all of them, don't
possible.
worry.
Do you think is it possible that she got into some kind of drugs or something that she shouldn't have, and
like maybe like ate some drugs that thinking it was candy.
possibly,
'Cause that's a total different type of accident theory, right?
yeah, yeah,
Like, yeah,
that would be.
the drug theory. Yeah, the drug, whether it was given to her or it was eaten. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean that's
and when I yeah,
definitely something. I mean,
hmm. What about like
about that.
another person not outside of the family doing something to her, and the family had like a cover up theory, maybe?
Yeah, I mean that could be something too. I mean,
Yeah, I think it's very good chance, right?
yeah, definitely.
Okay. So we have a lot of theories to deal with, to look through, right? And then we have then we have the RSO theories.
Yeah,
Right.
now there's
Everybody in that area has one, right? That we know of.
I was gonna say there
Or
is quite
friends
a
with
few of
one?
the, yeah, there's a few of those hanging around.
Sicko theory, right? Yeah, the sicko theory. We could call it the Jared Lasik theory. How's that?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I'm good.
Yeah,
aren't I?
we could do that one. We could definitely go
Suckering
with that one.
fuckatash. It's one thing we don't won't coddle as people like that. But again, until we know who they are, we don't consider that in a case, right? So again, taking that all out of that, right? So we've got now we're looking at Candace. Now we're looking at let's look at players. Now let's take it from what all the possibilities are. There's a swing accident. We'll leave that under just an accident, like that kind of deal, right? An accident could be anything but like drowning, because drowning would be like a whole separate theory to us. Like the accident could be like the rough housing theory, the wrestling around there, the hide and seek theory. Remember that one?
Yes, I do remember that coming up.
Or in the fridge, like maybe she got stuck in the fridge theory, and all those. Like you could kind of make those all into different theories, right? Like you can put it separated from the drowning theory, because there's different ways she could have got in there, right? So like all of that is in play. Everything that you guys can think of. So now that you guys got the spectrum of that, let's talk players here, and don't get them confused, because of don't get peppermint screwed up with Candy and Candace. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You're gonna get a lot of people with the same names. You're gonna get Don Wells Jr. You're gonna get Don Wells Sr. You're gonna get Don Wesley Wells. You're gonna get multiples, right? David Dodson's and all these names. You guys got to separate.
Candace and Candy and
mm-hmm.
Fred and Frank and
So we're gonna go with when we talk about these people, we'll go with Candace Bly Wells or Candace Wells. And then when we talk about Grandis, we can say, well, I call her Grandis, so I'm gonna call her Grandis a lot. But we all know who Grandis is, right? It's Candy Hair.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but I think
she
prefers to be called Candy.
Right. So let's kind of give a breakdown of who people are. Then we got Candace Wells. For people who are new getting this case, they might as well just get some really quick information. So we got Candace Wells, or Candy Bly Wells. That's the mother.
Summer's mother. Yeah.
Then we got Grandis or Candy,
and that's Candace's mother.
Yeah, we'll go with Candy, right? Candy Hair.
Yep.
Okay. And then we got Rosemary Bly, who's actually
she's missing, sister. And that's Candace Wells' sister.
Correct. So we have a sister that's missing of the mother who has a missing daughter.
Yes.
So if you're new, then you get the confused. Do they mix? Are the cases together? No, they're still separate. Okay. Did one have to do with another? It's lottery odds. If you know what that means, it's like you win the lottery one day and then you play the lottery the next and you win it. Also, it's most likely no, right?
No,
separate. Again, 13 years she's been missing.
They don't have nothing to do with each other.
Right, but you'll hear her come be brought up throughout this. So we'll just put her in with the players of the case for now. But she's not obviously being looked at as a player. Is Summer's missing because she's deceased. So then who else do we have that's in the immediate family? So we've got Candace, we've got Candy,
we've got Candy, Don
Wells.
Can't leave him out. Then we've got Summers. We got the brothers.
Two younger brothers, right? Okay, we'll go with two younger brothers. We'll call them the younger brothers. If we talk about one of them, we'll just say younger brothers because I don't want to mention their names because again, remember this is all forever. They're always going to look at this stuff for the rest of this. Please don't time people out if we don't have to. Let's keep everybody here. So we have 2 younger brothers. Then we have JW, the 16-year-old brother.
Yes.
Right. Okay. And then we have Hunter.
Yes,
Now
that is. How would you explain that one? That is the friend of Candace's. That's her.
I would say
friend's son.
this Hunter is like, he loved Summer is what we know of him. This is what he said. He
Yeah,
loved Summer.
He said he
right?
looked at her like a little
Like
sister.
Okay, let's
Exactly.
just we'll go with that. And he doesn't belong in the immediate family, but he was there with the family a lot, and I think he holds a lot of family secrets there. But we'll get to those. So Hunter would be like the bridge in between the families, right? Hunter's the only reason why they're still talking, because we know when we met everybody, including the people we're going to get to now, that family had not been engaging with Allie any longer, right? Everybody separated, split up, no friends anymore. Okay, so we've got Hunter, who's the bridging gap that still allows these people to talk. So that's important too, of why people are still around when he's not supposed to be around. That we'll find out very shortly here. And the timeline we're going to get to is the biggest thing right here. We're going to start it tonight. So we've got Hunter as the bridging gap to Allie, and then we have Great Grandbun, who's the grand. Who is that?
Grandbun. Now that is Allie's
She's the one who's
mother?
sitting. Yes. Allie's mother is Sherry, correct?
Yes, so that would.
So
be
people get a lot. I'm trying to keep people on track, because a lot of people get this confused here. So we have, and we're going to get to why it's important here. So we have Sherry, who's Allie's mother, and then the great grandmother is. That's the great grandmother, great grandbun, right?
Grandbun is the grandmother of Allie. Okay.
Allie's grandmother.
Okay. Sorry, I got that one confused.
Okay. So a lot of people get that confused, because what you would think that in an interview, when everyone's sitting around a table, you would have seen Sherry, right?
Yeah.
But Sherry wasn't in the picture yet, right? She didn't come out till later. So we have Sherry, the mother of Allie. We've seen Allie. And then we have Leslie. Leslie is not part of any of the family.
No.
Right?
She's just
not part of the other
friend of Allie, and I guess was a friend of Candace's, but then they had a falling out. So
right. And what we're not going to be doing is talking about the sisters of Hunter, because there's no reason to at this point, right?
No,
there's no bearing, and there's stuff going on with them, and there's CPS cases, active involvement. We don't do that here. We're not going to be messing with anything that has to do with kids or the CPS cases that are current, and those are current. The ones that we're dealing with in the case, the JW, we're going to be talking about. Yes, there is a certain order in place right now, a gag order as well. But again, we're going to have to talk about it at a certain time, and again, those two are on limits and not off limits, in a graceful way when we talk about them. As much as possible. So we have, do we have to get into the church people first? Can we separate them as church people? Is that going to be bad for anybody?
I think that would be fine to do that. I don't see a problem with that. Okay. Because I think the more names we're going through, the more confused people are getting.
That's what I'm trying to get. I'm trying to get to here.
Yeah.
You can see this, because a lot of you know who these people are, right? But it gets confusing, because there's a lot of people that's been inserted in these cases so far that shouldn't be involved in the suspect list yet, right?
Exactly.
So where do we start then, right? How do you not get confused in this case? Let's start at the beginning of that morning, or should we start a few hours before? Maybe we should start the night before.
Yeah, I think I think that's usually the best place to start when you're looking at a missing person, is at least 24 hours before.
God, could you imagine if we sat here and tried to explain who these people were to you like this, and then the flute guy, and then Jose and all this, like until we get to that, like you got to take all of that out, that you guys, there's nothing besides what do we look at right away? The people who last saw her, and when can we confirm that she was last seen alive the night before, right?
That's
okay. We're on the same page here. Everybody got all that mess out of the way, right?
Good. Everybody good? Got your notebooks out?
It's hard to explain. It's hard to explain, right? It gets even messier when you jump in 6 months later and you got all the stuff that happened in the case, right? So all that has to go away, right? So now we got the morning. We're starting at the night before. I'm starting at 10 p.m. Kids go to bed at around 10 p.m., right?
They should, yes.
Okay, 10 p.m. Night before, 14th of June, 2021. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Who's the last people that we can confirm? And I can actually, and I have videos to prove all this. It's going to get a lot easier for you guys, and it's going to make a lot of sense now. We're going to do it this way. Who are the last people to see Summer Wells?
That would be Don and Candace. But then we also know that the neighbor that we've not brought up yet, Jody Sue.
Okay. So let's bring up the relevant parties who we need to bring up that's relevant, who actually makes sense in the case so far, right? I mean, that's what we should do, right?
Yeah.
All right, Jody Sue. Okay, and Andy, who's Andy? Jody Sue and Andy are married. Okay, you guys know who Jody Sue and Andy. Jody Sue is this person. If you guys don't know who this person is, let me help you out, because again, this is not going to be boring. Again, we broke the ice right now, right? We're all good. All right.
Yeah, we're good.
Jody Sue, this lady.
My dirty teeth off the road. You want to kiss my son's snake? Kiss my son's snake. What? Cash at me? I have cancer. Cash at me? Cash at me? You need a medical thing? Yeah, cash at me.
Yeah, that's Jody Sue.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, my phone's totally screwed. I'm gonna just have to do that here. So last time Jody Sue. All right.
That's Jody
I
Sue.
just gonna have to move my mic because I'm the last person. Like I'm the last person that has to like. I'll make it tough on myself. I'll make it so I can't.
I know, right?
It's just I make everything more difficult. Here's the video. It's that quick. It's not a big deal.
You forget that it moves, right?
You know what? My neck, my back. No, my neck hurts so bad from not moving it, and I know it moved. Problem.
Right. I know.
That's the issue. It's I make the things harder on myself. It is what it is. Jody Sue tells us the last time she saw Summer. Okay, yes, let's take it back to what we can prove, right? Facts.
Yep.
What is being said? Can we make this make sense to any one of these theories? And this is how we're going to explain to people, you guys. Jody Sue, the neighbor of Don and Candace Wells. Okay, off 110 Ben Hill Road, where they live. Jody Sue lived across the street with her husband, ex, or whoever you want to call it, which is Andy Bernard. Andy was at work on camera, allegedly on camera, a whole day. But we don't care about that day. We kind of care about the last time Summer was alive. Who saw her? What was happening? Let's listen.
Okay, Jody Sue, let me get this straight. You put the dogs over at Don and Candace's house. You've been listening every night in the dark to them. You hear Don walking on gravel, walking on boards. What else are you doing? Why are you up all night? Why are you putting your dogs over there? Also, you're telling us that Don was showering with Summer Wells, and also you're telling us that Candace asked you to change your story up for TBI? What's really going on here? Why are you still talking to them? How can we take you for credible, Jody Sue? You've cried wolf too many times. Is this true or is it not true?
Somebody told me that you said the last place you'd seen Summer was getting out of the shower with Donnie. No, that's not what you seen and saw. The fuck it ain't. Last time I saw that little girl was 2 nights before she went missing, and that's exactly what I saw. That's exactly what I heard. She was naked as the day is long at that damn door at the top level, and she was yelling at you for a damn towel while the oldest was out there talking and chatting with me, and you were yelling at him because he was like, Jody Sue's right about the dogs. Once again, you all keep dismissing since day one and trying to make it seem like it ain't something it is. And those fucking dogs are the key. Those dogs are the key. You want to know how I know that? Because they're partly my pups. Because I sat there for over a month listening in the dark as footsteps left that driveway, as gravel crunched below Dawn's heels, as I listened to boards lift up and things move around in the dark, as I watched things disappear off of my trail cams after y'all suddenly realized I had them. All these little pieces. But that is exactly where I saw Summer last. And she was yelling, kind of being a brat. Nobody come get her a towel. And I had to ask. I was like, is that the boys? Because there's a shadow behind her, right? And her hair. And then here you are on that live chat with me on Facebook the other night, telling me that no, it was you that had gotten out of the shower. So remember? No, because that ain't true. It's not true. I remember the truth, which is exactly where and how I saw Summer last. And I know Andy saw her the night before she went missing, but I saw her 2 nights before. What I can't figure is, after all these months of you knowing this.
So, for this finishes, now we can place people who saw the night before according to Jody Sue, right?
Yeah.
That when Summer was alive, right? This is the last known time, I believe, that we could place this being, I know, creaking and walking around. It's kind of creepy, right? But I had to keep all this stuff. Believe me, this is a lot of hours of listening. This is when she didn't mumble. This is when Jody Sue, this was when the time was like, this wasn't, Jody Sue was this now. I guess Jody Sue's got some new information. Let's check in with her, see what she's saying. That's back. Do you see how much easier she was to listen to back here?
I know.
This was closed caption was like, cool, Jody Sue, we'll let you in. Like now closed captions like, oh, well, we're questioning our relationship with YouTube because we don't understand a damn thing she's saying.
Exactly.
Like, I know, right? Trying to smoke and drink coffee at the same time. What's wrong with you, lady? Okay, so so much easier to listen to. So Jody Sue, the neighbor, says her husband Andy was over hanging out. What was Andy hanging out with at Don's house for? Let's start questioning this. Are they friends? Because again, we can put together the facts that we do know in this case and not play stupid and not dance around the facts. Like we gave you like all the theories in the beginning of what it could be and try to confuse you with who people are. But let's look at the major people that we need to deal with, not the flute players, not anybody we're not adding to the case right now. Right? Jody Sue and Andy, what is their connection? Why are they friends? Because they hate each other, right? According to her.
Yep.
Candace was a terrible mother, according to her. She had to put Band-Aids on Summer, take care of, help out, change batteries and things because Candace couldn't do anything for herself. This is what we're hearing first from the neighbor, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, according to Jody Sue, Candace didn't even know how to give her kids medicine when they needed it or anything.
Right.
She didn't know anything without her.
So why is Andy over there, and why is she looking and seeing Summer naked in the shower down there? And then what? How can that even be? I know I get the whole no walls thing, but
yeah.
So that gives me the thought process that the theory of some RSO that could probably see from the street one time could give them that thought that they could have that, right? So that theory now has to be there, right?
Right. I mean.
Yeah. If Jody Sue can see from across the street a naked Summer Wells, who else could see a little naked Summer Wells? It's gross. Yeah, it's nasty.
Yeah.
It's disgusting. But that's the facts. Like these parents, this is why you can tell Don and Candace you're getting blamed too because you're terrible parents, first of all. Shitty people, third of all. Second of all, refer to 1 and 3. Like that bad of people, like not people I would hang out with. But that doesn't mean your daughter is that way. She's God's child, right? So like
exactly.
she didn't deserve what she got, obviously. And you guys let her have social media at 5 years old, which is a totally bad idea for any parent to do, right? You exploiting your kid right away. It's like putting a menu up on the back of your car of stick figures of kids and little Billy and little Johnny and your dog and how many people you need to kill and animals before you have a clear house. Why we're in Hawaii. Come rob our house. Like we're stupid when it comes to Facebook. People are stupid, right? Yeah, it is what it is.
Don't do that, people.
Right? Because if you're not paying attention, if you're not paying attention to the parent, if you're not listening into the headphones when your kids are playing video games, who are they talking to? Do you know?
Have no idea.
You have no clue. What chat room are they in? You don't know. Right?
You really don't. You have to keep an eye on your kids for sure.
So the predator thing is there. But did any one of these people do that to Summer? right? Because that's where everything else that you could have learned in the past, learned behavior, plays into this, right?
Right.
Okay,
Does.
so does she have just a hatred to these people? It seems like she's angry to me. So everything I'm hearing from her right now, it's in the equation, but is it the truth? Right? Is she throwing Andy under the bus because she's mad because he's got a new doormat to sleep on, or
Yeah,
mattress?
see, I've kind of wondered that too. I mean, you have to,
Mm.
knowing that that's like an ex relationship there, I think you kind of have to take that with a grain of salt.
Because Andy's never confirmed this. Out of everything I've listened to Andy Bernard, and I have listened to his interviews, and you guys all probably heard Andy, I've never heard him confirm that he saw her the night before. If I'm wrong, maybe you guys can fill me in on that. Right?
No, I've never heard him say that. I've never heard him say any of the stuff that she says.
And if you have a
Really.
peeping Tom that she's talking about all the time, who she claimed Don was peeping Tomming her, right? That Don, Teflon Don was over there. Yeah, she was blaming Don for doing that, but yet she's the one, watching them creaking. It's like, is this like a fan? Like if people were really watching her and her kids, first thing I'm doing is sticking a gun out the window at you. First of all, secondly, like you shouldn't have even come over here. Like, but entertaining it, like the cameras you said you have, right? Like, how does somebody know where your cameras are and be able to take away your footage? Like you say they're messing with your footage and things like that, or Candace told you to change your story, but that we can't confirm all of that.
No,
we can't. So like, do I feel like you have a motive, and are you a person of interest in my case here and a suspect to me? Yes, you're a suspect to me. Yeah, 100%. And your husband too, right? Because your hatred for them is enough that you guys would want to help something happen. Like, because Jody Sue, we know you're friends with everybody in that holler, right? Let's just be honest. The RSO, you do business with anybody, don't you? Yeah,
exactly. I mean, the Hills and the Lights are some of her best friends.
right. Of course, right. The Hills and the suspects on my eyes. Yeah, we'll get to them. Yeah, of course. But yes, her definitely on the list. And she says she's been cleared. I haven't heard that. Everyone's still a suspect. So we've got her, and then now I got Andy. We have to deal with. Would Andy help her, or was Andy already on the outs with her? Because it seems like Andy and her were already on the outs. I know they were never married.
Yeah, I mean
married. Andy's parents own a bunch of land. Okay, and Andy's parents own a bunch of land. Is the Lights own a bunch of land? Where's? I mean, there's land that goes all the way around to the church. I think the Baptist church. Even the Lights own, or someone like that. Like somebody owns a bunch of land out there.
Yes, the Lights and the Hills both.
Right. Yeah.
Have a bunch of land out there.
Bunch of land. Yeah, a bunch of land.
Andy's family owns
a lot of the land. Yeah,
a lot of that big. Well, the parcel of land that Jody Sue was staying on.
Nothing goes on out there without those lands knowing what's going on. Okay, that's just my eyes. I mean, those lands are speaking to each other, if you know what I mean, and they're all in business together, right? It's who can buy up the most land and keep this holler the way we like it, right? It's like you want to be able to live your life the way you want to live it, do the legal stuff you do. What do? You buy up all the you buy up the cul-de-sacs. Yeah, you're on my list, all of you guys. Yeah. Okay, so starting with Jody Sue, this is where this is where you're suspicious to me.
All of a sudden now it's pertinent that you're going to try to fuck with my memory, try to manipulate me, try to talk me into stuff. Like, do you really think I'm going to go back and lie to the face and be like, here, officer, sir, I need to change my story? Y'all got the wrong girl.
This is No Thanks Investigates.
Hold on.
I'll catch you.
First of all, Don, nice lips, buddy.
Oh God!
Put the pipe down and back away from it. Yeah, the behavior panel was cute. So was Dr. Phil. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was cute. Your lips just cracked me up. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it looked like, remember those red rocket pops? Red rocket pops. Rocket pops.
Right.
Yeah, I said red rocket like we're talking about puppy.
Oh,
but Don, don't keep your finger away from the dogs, Don. Yeah.
exactly.
Those lips, buddy. You're gonna make some dude happy someday with no lips up in jail if you did this. But Don, you're not you to me still Don Juan, Teflon Don. Don that likes to do Don from the John, whatever you want, your interviews are, you know what I mean? Whatever you want to call you. There's nothing that points that you're not smart enough to pull this off, nor I don't even think that you're that bad enough to do this. Because I think, again, you think Summer, and I'm going to talk to you, Don, during these things like this, because I think you really love Summer a lot. That's why I want you to do the right thing. If you know now what happened, again, going back to what we know, Candace Wells, right? The mother of Summer Wells is a shitty parent, a shitty person, and she has a Leslie talking about her to make us really hate her. Before we really got to see Candace's full interviews or anything released from the interview room like that, we saw a lot of the table talk, right? For the alley.
Yeah.
And more of the stuff came out later for the swim holes and things like that. But we really had people put into this case again who really bashed Candace. Now we can bash Candace because we know her record now, but we can say this lady saying that she made them lay on hot cement. I'm not friends with her. I don't go over there. I don't know her like that. But this is what I do know. The only reason why Leslie's in this story is who's Leslie to this case and how did she get inserted? Do you know?
The only thing really about Leslie is that she was friends with Allie.
She was at a football practice, right? Remember when Allie's phone was dead? That the hunter had to make a phone call, right? We all know where we are in the story, but we're gonna have to take it to different spots to make it make sense. So we have this table talk, and Leslie's inserted. She's this Walmart nurse, which I didn't know they even had at Walmart was nurses. But she's passed away now. Rest in peace. If you didn't know that, Leslie's passed away.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, Leslie passed away. I was Allie's friend, and they became friends after Candace's relationship ended with Allie. Allie was best friends with Candace at one point, but they didn't meet each other first because the way the relationship started, if you're new to this, is Candace Wells, the mother of Summer Wells, was friends with Sherry.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. She was.
That's where Sherry comes into the story,
which was Allie's mother.
Right.
Yes.
Then they had a fallout, Sherry and Candace becomes best friends with who?
Allie.
Yes. So Candace was actually friends first with Sherry. Allie is a secondary fallback, right? How do you harm somebody that hates you like her mom? Is become friends with her daughter.
Exactly.
Right? So that's where Hunter now, how long did he really know Summer to say that that's my little sister or I love her like a little sister? Because to me, there's not enough time to love her like a little sister or enough time to hang out that way. Yeah, you could spend time, but the way we learned the way they spend time, there's not a lot of summertime. It's more like, how do I get this, right? Because with Hunter, it's not what can I help you with? It's what can I get from you? That's a fact.
Yeah, that's the vibe I got from him, definitely.
Yeah, running around as a 15-year-old, staying up all night the night before this happens, using illicit drugs, smoking, not listening to authority, having issues in the past with trying. I think didn't he get in trouble for trying to take it? Didn't he try to take somebody out of a car or something like that, or didn't he get in a fight with someone or
attempted carjacking? Yes,
attempted carjacking. Right.
Yeah.
Right. So we have a kid that has a problem with authority, who throws gang signs. Right. Not saying that's not this day and age, but literally, Allie had to, he was on probation. Allie had to, he had to be attentive to him, right? Like she had to make sure that she said he could go out of town. He couldn't even leave that area, right? Unless probation was approved or Allie let him go.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that was the thing. He wasn't even supposed to go with Candace to the swim hole without Allie's permission.
Right. Yeah. Or were they going to the water park? Or is that just another red herring?
Yeah, see that whole
just
thing
throw that in there, right? Even just throw that one in there. Right. So we have a kid who's lied in interviews and changed stories, a kid who hates adults unless he can get something from him, or does he feel like he's an adult?
I think he honestly he definitely was behaving like he was an adult, or attempting to, in his mind, I guess.
Right. So when you put that kid and you put a Candace Wells Bly together who feels like she's a 14-year-old and she behaves like that, because if you remember how she stormed off of the behavior panel, like baby Huey looking ass. Yeah.
Exactly.
Scurried off, right? Crying. I need my mommy, basically stomping your feet.
Mom, right?
Don's trying to calm you down because Don really wants to find Summer, but he's already apologizing since day one because he's been thrown into this negativeness of this nastiness of what he's done in the past that he admitted to on accident, right?
Yeah.
So taking that still out of the equation, backing it up, if we didn't know that, again, Don has not shown me one thing yet that he didn't want to find Summer. He's been scared into not looking and not finding Summer since day one. So is he a suspect? Yeah, hell yeah, he's a suspect. How high on the list? Hey, he's way up there.
Right. I mean, he has to be. But you also have to keep it as a possibility that he has no clue. He's
going to move down, though. He's in my top 2 right now, right? Top 2.
Yeah.
Candace, Don, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, as the parents, they have to be. Yeah.
Have to be that way. I don't have a choice. It has to be that way. So we have that, but we have this defiant kid who is well, he's got a girlfriend named well, we're not going to bring her up, but her mom's name is Red. Right. And yeah, I get it. People have red hair in this, but why are we going by gang names at 35 years old? I know I go by, I'm no thanks, but it's a moniker. It is what it is. But yeah. We got it. There's some problems with here. So now we have a kid that behaves like an adult, who stays up all night, who drinks, who smokes, who's straight West Coasts, hanging out with a lady who thinks she's 14. And mentality wise, there's a lot of issues here. The first person that anything that should have been thought about is Hunter even allowed there? Because if Sherry's not friends anymore with Candace and Candace and Allie were actually not friends any longer when Hunter, that June 15th came along, they weren't friends any longer.
No, they weren't.
No, they weren't. Okay, so Hunter is not allowed to go over there. I have it in writing from Don Wells that Hunter was not allowed to be at that house on June 15th. He was not allowed to be associating with Candace any longer. Why? Because I can prove to you, and I can tell you for a fact that Hunter, according to Don, this is what I know, and according to the stuff that we have, and I could, I might as well could bring it up for you guys too. Their messages stating that Hunter was sending Candace pornographic pictures and things through, and I'm not saying of himself, but pornographic stuff that Don says that he was sending to Candace, and as soon as Summer went missing, it stopped.
Yeah,
he's got them all on record. I have the text messages. I have actually a screenshot, so we're not going to bring them up right now, but I can prove it. We've seen it, and if you haven't seen it, I'll pull up a video, or you can go to the playlist. But I'm only going to bring up the stuff as it's relevant right now into this, because I truly believe that if we could put this into the timeline that we're going to start right now, because all this is going to make sense with the timeline here, which is what we're going to do. That's what's going to solve this case. What we're doing right here won't, right? This is not going to solve it just going back over it. We're going to just get to the timeline. But what I'm trying to explain to you is that the thing we have to look at is we're taking it to this day and now. If you look at all the immediate people, we have to look at the group of people at Allie's house is on our list right now. So whoever we talk about would be Great Grandbun, Allie, Sherry, Leslie, who she'll be out of the story soon, but she's relevant because she was FaceTiming with Allie to Candace the night the cops were there. And yes, we remember everything. We'll get to her. But like she'll be here for now. But we're going to X people out that we don't need. And if it's your list, you keep your list. But I'm going to tell you at a point that Leslie's going to be off the list. We're just going to talk about her for a little bit. So Hunter is not allowed at that house.
No.
There's something going on more adult-like between him and Candace. To me, I'm going to work that into the scenario, and I'm going to give you just the gist, because it has to be that way, because Hunter was said not to be at that house that day when he actually was. And this is where it gets hairy, people. So let's start with the timeline. Now that you kind of know where we're going with this, we're going to be focusing on JW with the house area, and then we're going to be focusing on Hunter in the timeline with the house area right now. So if you guys don't want to talk about that right now, you might want to leave, but this is what we're getting into. So timeline goes this. We start the night before. Andy and everybody that saw her, right? All on the list also. So starting the night before, 10 p.m., there would have been a bath or something, or a shower, and get to bed. Don can place Summer being alive early morning at around 4 when her leg was over his.
Yeah, he said that. I guess if I'm remembered correctly, she was still in bed asleep when he left to go to work.
Right. But
I don't remember exactly what time he said that was, but that he said that was the last time he saw her.
She slept in between Dawn and Candace in the same bed.
Yes,
For people that don't know.
she did.
Okay. So we'll place her alive all the way to 4 a.m. at the house when he wakes up. Now, Dawn and Candace and the boys, the younger boys, JW is at the house, right? Who else is at the house in a trailer?
Grandis.
Grandis. Right.
Yep.
So we have Candy Hare, the grandmother. We have Candace Bly Wells. We have Don Wells at the house. We have the 2 younger boys, and then we have JW.
Yes.
And nobody else, right?
No.
Okay. So everybody's alive at this point, we're going to assume. And the sleeping situation goes as such. 2 of the boys sleep upstairs, and then one of the boys sleeps downstairs, and Summer sleeps in the bed with them. So we know where everybody's sleeping and where everybody is in the house when this happens. The story goes like this. Don Wells wakes up. Like Crime and Justice said, he wakes up and he has to move Summer to get out of bed, right?
Yes. That's what he said.
All right. Okay. So Candace is still in bed, right? Do we know where Candace is at that time?
No.
We don't, do we?
No. Nobody's ever said.
Okay. So is she awake? Is she not awake? Who knows? Okay. All we know is that what Don says. Now, what we do know is that Don says he doesn't know whether he left for work at 7, 7:30, or 8 o'clock, but he said they're around there. That's a problem to me because he had his coffee. Yeah, he had his coffee, and you would know if, in fact, he left before or after Candace, right?
Yeah.
If he told us that time, but she had to be at the hospital by 8 a.m. with Candy Hare, right?
Yes.
This mystery appointment to the ER for this knee injury that apparently has been ongoing because the kids used to kick her in the knee is what the story goes.
Yeah, that's.
If any of my kids ever kicked some old lady in the knee, I'm putting them in a mental headlock. You know what I mean? You're not kicking an old lady in the knee. I get it. Grab her elbows and see if you could stretch that down like silly putty because that's fun. And it doesn't hurt. You know what I mean? Squeeze it. You bite it. You makes you want to bite it like an old lady's elbow. Don't lie. You want to pinch it. You know it. Like that doesn't hurt. You don't feel that. How about this? You do it. You shake.
Oh.
Yeah. Remember that? Yeah.
No, don't do it.
Yeah. Don, nice lips, by the way. Sorry, I got to get those off the screen. I can't focus. Okay. Okay.
Remove the lips.
Thank God. Sorry if you guys were just staring at his lips the whole time. No, totally. Okay. So Don doesn't know if he left between 7 or 8. Candace Hare and Candace Bly Wells is supposed to be at the ER at the morning by 8 a.m. She says she's there before the phone call and everything. So the timeline actually has to start still at the house because Don's at the house and who's at the house when Candace is sitting talking to Hunter at the ER. Because Candace says, when does Hunter call Candace or does Candace call Hunter? Let's start there because they're sitting at the ER by 8 a.m. Let's go with they're at the ER by 8 a.m. But who's at the ER?
Candace and Summer.
No. Well, why do you say that? Candace never said Summer was with her anytime at all in any interview. Anytime. She said because she talks only about that when she's saying that, Hunter, called me and
I thought Candace originally had said that she took Summer with her.
Well,
to take.
She said that she said she changed. No, I think she said she changed Summer before they left the house. She said it was too hot outside. Well, didn't she say it was too hot outside for Summer? So she had to change her in a bathing suit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's remember. So now we're still stuck at the house at 7 a.m. or 7:30 a.m. What kind of weather is it in Tennessee at that time? Is it warm enough to put your daughter in just a bathing suit and leave?
Not really. I mean,
okay. So she said that no. So, but
typically in June, that time of morning, you're probably going to be maybe around 60, 65 degrees.
Right. Okay. So yeah, it's cold, but that's impossible to change her there. But because Hunter says Summer was changed there in front of him. Yeah. Candace went in there. No. So So who's at the house at what time?
So,
And where did Summer really get changed?
that's an issue too.
Because Hunter's not allowed over. Hunter's not allowed over at Summer's house at this point. Remember?
No.
Okay. Yeah. Hunter's not allowed there. And for Allie to approve it and all this stuff, and for her to be in the bathroom or sleeping or this and that, and it seems like he just didn't ask his mom a damn thing. He just did what he wanted to do. Stayed up all night too. No, yeah, you don't care.
Yeah, well, honestly,
Yeah.
I don't think he did ask her. I think
I don't think that's
you know,
filler.
I
That's
think
filler. It's filler.
they filled that in after the fact to try to keep him out of trouble.
Yeah. Summer didn't change it,
seems
Hunter.
like.
Candace says Summer. Well, no, I have it on the interview room, and even her interview and everything says that no, I changed her before we left the house.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Well, Candace says she changed her before she left the house, which would lead you to assume that meant that she took Summer with her.
Yeah, you would think she brought her to the ER, but was Summer and the boys left home alone? Good possibility, huh?
Honestly, you don't know that. I mean,
it seemed like Candace and Hunter had like a cool time to, hey, like, what are you doing? And I'm nothing. What do you want to hang out? Yeah, because I have the other from June 4th. Remember, he's like, hey, what are you doing? Oh, I'm at the ER with mom. Like, is your mom with you or your grandma with you? He's like, no, she went with my whatever. Right. And meaning that's code for like, hey, come hang out, Yeah, let's hang out. Right. Something
Exactly.
weird when we got pictures of Hunter with no shirt on hanging out with Candace, in pictures, which is weird.
yeah,
Right?
that's
Yeah, it is.
super weird because, considering they were laying on somebody's bed.
Yeah. But can we blame Hunter
Kinda
for what
strange.
happened to Summer until we actually can prove Summer was at the swim hole alive?
No.
Because we can all say Grandis said that she can't remember if where she was or what she was doing. You would remember if you were sitting in the car making phone calls or putting time on your phone, like Candace and Hunter were
No.
trying to push. But Candy Hare can't even remember what happened that day or where they went because she probably was not there.
Well, that's the way she kind of made it seem. Candy kind of made it seem like that they took her back to her camper and that she went in and took a nap, and then they were supposed to go.
That didn't
pick
come
up
out
her
till later.
prescriptions.
That didn't come out. The whole nap thing didn't come out till later.
Yeah.
And remember that you got to remember when things came out. So now who can we place in the drive-through? Even let's just say, who can we place in the drive-through at the time when they're dropping off Grandis's medication in the morning? Let's just go a little further.
Right.
Then we'll go with the timeline here. Yeah. So now we get to the Walgreens, right? And this is the first trip to Walgreens.
Yeah, when they dropped the prescription off.
First trip. Who's dropping the prescription off that first trip to Walgreens? Tell me. Because it seems like, is Summer there yet? Or is she still home with Dawn and the boys?
That's what we don't know.
It's important
know,
how can we get so far into where we are now without even knowing who was with who in the morning and with what?
So many people have told so many different versions of events.
Yeah.
I mean, it really depends on who you put any kind of credibility into.
Well, math doesn't lie. So if you can figure out the time that everybody was with each other and who was with who, then it'll make more sense, right? So if we can't place Summer being there in the morning, which I can prove to you guys all, and I wouldn't be just spitting this if I couldn't prove it. We did the 16 months straight. Believe me, I lived, dreamed, speak everything, this case for so long. You got to put these people who was with who. Right. You got Hunter, you got Grandis. I mean, and Candace Bly Wells, right? Those three. Yep. Hunter's not allowed to be with her or even go over to the house. But where does Hunter have to go if she picked him up after the hospital? That means that he had to have gone back to the house when they said Hunter's never been back to the house that day.
Yeah, that's what they said.
Yeah, they did, didn't they? Yeah, they did. And I also asked Dawn and Candace about this stuff, and Dawn says, yeah, I really couldn't tell you yes or no, and Candace really won't tell me the truth.
Oh, of course she wouldn't.
No.
No.
Why would she if she's hanging out with somebody that she's not allowed to be? Number one, Don has these right before like Summer got gone. Remember, he's told me this, and I have proof. This all comes from proof in text messages that he was sending pornographic stuff to her, meaning there was probably something more going on between them. Don caught it, and it was either you stop or you're gone, right? Because that's why he didn't have a problem going and doing his hooker thing and getting it cracked out all that time during the time of all this, right?
Right.
Yeah. So who's with who? Is it important? All the other stuff that we've heard or like naming all the characters now? No, we have all the theories that could happen, right? We have the accident theory, the swim hole accident theory, and all the other abduction theory, right? We have all of that, right? The players are building themselves in the case. All these people can come into play when they need to, right? So all we got to worry about is who is with who in the morning at that time. Don didn't know if he left between 7 to 8 o'clock. He couldn't remember. This is facts, and he says it.
Yeah.
It's all documented. Okay. So if he is at home until 8 o'clock and they get to the hospital at 8 o'clock, who's at home alone? Because she says the kids will sleep until when? She'll sleep until noon if you let them.
Yeah.
They'll sleep until noon. All of them. Summer Wells sleep until noon if you let them.
Well, yeah, because most likely, let's be honest, they had no structure. They had no bedtime. So
you have Summer and you have the boys at home. You have the two younger boys and you have JW. Now you guys want to get nitty gritty and start and get into real theories and find Summer Wells and figure out what happened and who's got to figure out where she is now. That's all we got to figure out almost, because it's going to make a lot more sense from here.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't need to write it down. I'm going to make it clear. We're going to start it right here. Who's with who? What's relevant at the timeline, right? Summer was alive when they left at 8 a.m. in the morning, Dawn and Candace. She was probably alive at home, sleeping still. The brother's probably sleeping still.
Probably.
Candace needs to run out. The last thing she wants to do is get Summer ready or feed it, do anything because she's not a responsible parent. She's going to leave her at home and let them sleep until 12 and heat up a frozen pizza. Right? She's going to take Grandis. Why? Because they both probably want the medication, but Grandis went 10 days before to go get medication. So that now we have a lady that goes, it seems like Candace is just a terrible parent, right? And Don's going to work all the time. And Don called all the time. Don used to check in all the time. Don tried to be better. Don was trying to be the responsible one. Don was making decent money, probably $5,000 to $7,000 a month, to be honest. Don was making good money. Don't think don't think just a spackler or whatever we make fun of. Basically, all the hell they do is work, Yeah, but you know what? You had however you got it or whatever, that was yours, right? The house and everything. You had built it from being in jail every single month of your life since 3 days old or whatever. Like, think about it. Right? Summer didn't eat at all that day. There's not one CCTV of Summer Wells anywhere. Like, show me an actual video or picture that day. Show me. You can't. You just can't.
No, as far as her eating, the only thing we know of is the alleged Sonic slushy and the peppermint. Which
she had nothing around her mouth, right? Like little kids get messy, right?
Exactly.
Little kids get messy. You give her a colored anything while she's slurping on whatever. It's getting on their fingers. It's getting on their mouths, right? It's getting on their brand new outfits.
Exactly.
Why they're laying against the milk, right? Where Hunter can't even remember where he put the milk or which side or who did what or what side he sat on or where he walked to, which side. I mean, we really want to get into it. Yeah, we're going to break it all down, people. But the best thing you can do is figure out who was with who in the very beginning and who was with who at the very end. Then we figure out where Summer could be. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the $1 million question here is where could she be at now?
And what happened is what we're going to get to, because now we have the biggest things that we can go to right now. We can know that everything's on the table still, right? The abduction theories, all of that stuff. Is that the probable and possible one? Not to me right now. Everything, my list is already now with what we know factual, right? We don't have to play stupid and think we don't know anything about this case. If you know the facts, this is going to be really easy for you. If you don't know the facts, you're going to have to watch this, probably slow it down. But I'll be honest with you. Everything's backed up and I have it that we could back up, but we're going to go through it now. I'm going to make it make sense to you guys. And then tomorrow's show is I'm going to show it to you with valid proof, factual stuff. Yeah. Use your minds tonight. Sleep on it. Does it make sense to you guys? How I'm going to lay this out to you? It's going to get kind of weird here. Yeah. If you get a peppermint out of grandma's trailer, that's when you're disappearment. You disappearment. right? That was the
Yeah.
last thing she had. It gave her a peppermint and she went inside. By the way, what 5-year-old likes to fondle cactus? Anybody want to,
Yeah, see, that's-
would your 5-year-old want to come in? The last thing you would hear is, ow, ow, ow. Why would I want to repot cactus? Yeah, sounds fun, Mom.
Exactly.
Yeah, let me stop playing with the toys that I'm supposed to be my favorite toys in the house. Let me stop that and go pot some. Yes, yeah, no, that doesn't make sense either.
No.
And if you remember, it wasn't cactus, people. At first, it was the flowers on the side of the house, right?
Yep. That's
The
what they said.
those were the illegal flowers. That's where they actually came in as we wouldn't pick illegal flowers. Candace says at the swim hole, right? Remember that?
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
against the law. Okay, Candace.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah. Okay. So swim hole is out right now to me. Let's start at the house. This is where it gets nitty gritty. Is this what kind of accident is this? Okay. We have possibilities of what happens when three boys are at a house with a younger sister, right? And say like, even if they're sleeping, they're fine. But like, let's say they're all awake. What would they all be doing if they're all awake? What do they have? What's the options to do there at the house?
Well, according to Candace, the boys only ever wanted to watch YouTube and play Minecraft.
Right. So if we place just those boys at the house with Summer, stating that Dawn has gone to work by now at 8 a.m., Candace and Grandis are at the hospital, right?
Right.
Say they're awake, they're playing video games. Could an accident happen? Say younger sister wants to, play or do something or watch something on TV and she shuts something off or, and somebody gets mad and instead of throwing the remote, they could have, thrown Summer? Hurt Summer or something out? Accident?
That's possible.
Okay, so we have
It's
a roughhousing.
possible. It could be possible that they're like, go away, go play downstairs, and maybe they shove her and she falls down the stairs. That's possible too.
Yeah, well, yeah, we're gonna have to make this we're gonna have to make this make sense because I don't think they're awake until noon, people. Matter of fact, I don't think the
Right.
brothers. Yeah, if you really want to know what we're going with here, yeah, I'm gonna say that the brothers probably didn't even see Summer that morning.
That's possible. Very
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah, because it's gonna make sense here, right? In a second, but we're gonna have to put it like if they were awake at 8 a.m, which is impossible because they'll sleep until noon if you let them. But we have to keep that on the table, right? Okay, so fish through it the way you got to. So if they're up there playing, so the roughhousing theory, right? Like,
Yep.
throws her down the hole of the ceiling where the
Yep.
stripper pole goes down to their bedroom, right?
Yeah, we got
Yeah.
that.
Okay, and then we have the Don Wells theory.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll call it that.
Yep.
For JW, because that's something we can't go away from on this situation now, because we would have found out by now, because we researched Don Wells by now, his background and everything. We knew he lost every kid, right?
He did.
The last 16 months, we knew all this stuff, right? So yeah, not playing stupid and laying this out the way it needs to lay out. We knew Don and Candace have lost all their kids by now, right? We knew Don's behaviors in the past. It would have come out. We would have got to it ourselves. Facts, because it would have gotten all the way down through Donald Wesley Wells, who the gift of love and the gift of life with that passed down. Correct?
Yep.
That's a gift that doesn't stop giving. And sometimes in a family.
Unfortunately, yeah, that's
So if the boys were so-called awake, the DW JW theory to me would be possible.
Yeah, it could be.
Mm-hmm. Don and Candace were already on the outs for two, right? Because why did Josie Wells, JW, and Don Wells go to Utah? They left, right?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they went to Utah. Why? And why just them two?
That I don't know for a fact. I know there's been several different things that have been thrown out there, but I
So
don't
him
know
having Jody in a headlock, right? During that interview.
Yeah,
remember that? So that
made me very uncomfortable. Yes.
So that look and that positioning tells me that why would he bring any one of his kids in front of a camera unless Don needed that for him, which Don could talk in front of a camera without a kid. Okay.
Right.
Did he do something wrong, or was Don using him as a crutch, or was Don saying, "Hey, I'm here for you. It's going to be okay," but we know something happened? The way that JW's face looked, it would give you that impression that there's something could have happened, right? So that leaves that theory plausible, right? Possible that the DW JW theory, right?
Yeah.
So now we have potentially 2 kids who could have done this to Summer, right? But you also got to think before we even accuse Hunter of that. If you think I'm going that direction, I think you're wrong, because I'm going to think if Hunter did anything with anybody, it's going to be Candace.
Yeah.
Right.
That's definitely think that was something there.
Yeah. I loved Summer like a sister. I'm not going to take that away from Hunter. He probably did love her like a sister.
I'm sure he probably did.
But he loves Honey from Candace.
Yeah.
Yeah. So who's at that house that day that shouldn't be there? Hunter is, right? Makes him look really guilty.
Yeah. It definitely does.
Yeah, or because Candace always, well, what can I get for you? Can I give you drugs, alcohol? Can I buy you some vapes? Can I do this? There was a lady who was charged for SAing kids in high school through vape pens.
Yeah.
I can pull it up in Tennessee.
Yes.
It's Candace's age.
Yes, it was.
Weird.
Definitely weird.
Seems like he got thrown into a nasty situation and Don hates him already. He seems like a good fall kid, right? He seems like a good fall point. He's got a messed up life already. Don's already pissed off at him. Like if something happened and it's a cover-up theory, like we're going to get into a cover-up theory, then somebody would have had to been mad at someone, right? Don was pissed off at that family because, well, Candace was sleeping with Hunter. Hunter's not allowed over there anymore because I have proof that Hunter was sending pornographic material to Candace. So it seems like to me something else was going on there. But Hunter seems like he's he throw him in the mix because guess what? Anything to take the focus off us, right, Candace? Okay, so what really happened that morning? So who was with who? Let's talk about it. Now that you got a sense of what I'm going with, were the boys awake or not? Let's be decisive on which way you want to go with this. In my head, no, they weren't. If you want to think they were awake, the only thing those accident theories and those things could have actually worked without them doing that in the afternoon, with it playing out. Because summer, I don't think that really went that way. The way it did that afternoon, it going to the grocery store, right? The outlet.
Right.
Yeah. Like she couldn't even remember what they bought. They couldn't remember how much food. She was just originally, Grandis was going to pick up a few things or whatever. Right. Or she was going to pick up a few things and then, but they were in there 5 minutes, but like they came back with 10 bags of groceries. Like, no, it didn't happen that way. They didn't get that much groceries. Like they were only in there for 5 minutes. Right.
That's the thing that never made any sense to me is because she was like, oh yeah, we got milk and cheese. That was the only thing she could remember.
Yeah, but then she had to go in and separate the groceries, her groceries from her mom's groceries. None of it makes sense.
Yeah, but then you got to not only do you got to go separate the groceries, but you got to have all the kids to go out and carry the groceries in.
Right. So let's now just take it to what's.
It takes a whole group to carry in cheese and milk. I didn't get it. Yeah,
I didn't, and then separate it in some. Yeah. So before that, though, what's important? Who's with who? What time did they get there? What time can be documented on camera, and who can be documented? I don't think the Walgreens could see all the way into that car. So we have Grandis in the car in the morning. There's no Summer, guys. We're going to solve this case. I'm going to go with my theory here of there's no Summer in the morning at 8 a.m. when she leaves the house with Grandis. And we're going to go with that. Okay. They leave the house, Grandis and Candace. You with me?
Yep.
Go to the hospital. Don Wells leaves probably before them. I'm going to say he left before them.
Probably, most likely.
Yeah. Left a little before them. They left to get there on time. Grandis goes and checks herself in. Unless you would see Grandis, Candace, and who else on camera at the hospital at the ER. You would see a little Summer Wells, which we haven't seen Summer Wells on any CCTV that's provable. Nothing.
No, I mean,
nada.
They allegedly have her on the Walgreens video, but we have not seen any proof of that. No.
Alive? They may have her on that camera, but do they have her alive and what time? Because the first trip, she's not there. Right? They make it seem like it because who says that she changed? Because Hunter and her said that, hey, we changed her at my house before we left when I, okayed it with Allie. So then you have Hunter and Allie staring at them changing Summer when Allie can't stand Candace and they know that they're not allowed to be around each other. There's no way.
But then you also have Candace saying, no, I changed her at the house she never went inside whenever they were at Allie's, and that never happened.
Mm-mm. So when he was asked what was she wearing, and he's like, well, I think it was these shorts or something, or you saw how the interview went at that table.
Yeah,
we saw how that went. There was a lot of sign language going on, right? And we heard a lot of Sandra's, but
definitely
point farts. We heard it all, right? The last CCT, yeah, the day before, right? Probably no CCT footage, nothing, right? No Sonic showed. There was no trash in that car that had Sonic anywhere in it, really. There's no trash in it. Like, who goes there and buys slushies for everybody, but nobody leaves trash? Hunter can't remember that he's sitting on a soda bottle. He can't remember which side. And I have the proof. I'll bring it tomorrow to you guys. Don't worry. But I'm telling you, he can't remember where he was sitting, can he?
no.
He didn't know which side of the car he was on. He didn't know that if Summer was sleeping, that he would have had to like lift her arm up and stick the milk under there, right? And he didn't remember where the box was because he would have been sitting on that had he been sitting where he's changed his spot to. And when he says he goes around to the other side of the car to get his vapes to the driver's side, he actually was sitting right behind Candace because that's what Allie said. He got out of the car because the car was facing. Yeah. So who's with who?
His entire ordeal with the whole car situation made no sense.
Allie felt really terrible too about like, hey, I didn't really go out to the car and see Summer like I should have. Her story changed because originally she saw Summer, right? But then it changed. She felt really bad. So she never saw Summer alive that day. So that was a lie. So if you take all the stuff that the interview room did, a lot of that changed. And if you didn't update your story every time you go back to the beginning of the timeline, you were already on to Jose, or you were already on to the next biggest conspiracy theory instead of what's important. Who the hell was Summer with when she got gone?
Yeah.
And was she alive when she got gone? Right?
Yeah, see, that's where the problem comes in, as we don't know.
Right. But what we do know is what we could factualize by what these people have said, right? And there's a little truth in everything they said if you could break it down, right? So if the kids could sleep until 12 if you let them, I'm going to go with they're sleeping until 12 if you let them, Candace, because you're not that helicopter mom. You're not that lady that just wakes Summer up and leave the boys home.
Right.
No, you're gonna make it easy on yourself, especially if you're gonna go, just screw around. You already had a plan here. Like there's a plan to get Hunter somehow. You said that he called you, but he says you called him. Because here's the difference, Candace. And I'm gonna tell you, if you call him, it's hey, I need something. And if he calls you, it's hey, I want something. So that relationship works perfect, right? Because he always wants the older person to get him whatever he needs, right? He's not the one that did anything to Summer. He may have had helping you hide him if that's the case, if that's what we're going to go with, or somebody, or he's just that fall guy. Because Hunter's not supposed to be there. And for some reason, you wanted to make him, he didn't sleep that whole night before. How is he going to have all this energy to go do all this other stuff and save Summer Wells from drowning? And you don't remember it, huh, Candace? What's the real story? Right? You can't believe everything that you hear at the swim hole because we don't know who was actually there.
No, we don't.
No. But we know that Grandis did come out later on and said she fell asleep and took a nap after the hospital.
Yep.
Which she couldn't remember anything at the swim hole, which leads me to believe that after they dropped off the medication and whatever they did to her at the hospital, old people like to take a nap. No offense, older people. I'm younger and I like to take a nap. But she went back into it and laid down, right?
Everybody likes to lay down and take a nap every now and then,
Yeah. So, but she went back and guess what? When she goes back, that's when it's hot enough. That's when it's warm enough to change Summer to get her into a bathing suit, to go to a swim hole. But you got to go decide because last minute, let's just decide what we're doing because we were going to go fishing and swimming and do all this without a fishing pole, without swimming gear. Yeah, it sounds pretty weird. Just spur of the moment, huh, Candace? All it took was 30 minutes for your medication. Just wait. You couldn't just wait. You had to go do stuff, right? Leads me to believe there was an accident. Something happened before that swim hole. To me, it seems like we got to figure out where did Summer get hurt? Was it an accident? Why wouldn't somebody help her? Why wouldn't you go that route? Are you doing something wrong? Are you drugs or something else? Like,
well,
is the CPS cases building up on you? And you can really just come out and just be like, we're going to lose all of our kids anyway. Like, I don't want to get in trouble. Like, what if, and this is where the what ifs go. Like, what happened to Summer? Why would they have to get rid of her? Did the DW theory happen? Or was it a roughhousing thing? Or did Candace get pissed off? We've seen how drunk and violent and vile they can get. That's how they were with the kids there. Don't think they changed just after they lost their kids, people. They were terrible, shitty parents before.
Exactly. They didn't change overnight like that. No.
No. Would they have to get rid of Summer, or would somebody take Summer? Is what you really got to boil it down to. And would Candace have to do this and use Dawn as a pawn? Because, well, Dawn said, basically, Grandis is the smartest one out of all of us, you know. But she's also the one who's called 911 on you guys all the time. You got to remember, Dawn.
Exactly.
Right? Who's wanted you to fail since day one, Dawn? Both of these two candies, Dawn. Right? Because the domestics, everybody who called in the 911s, you came back to save your family and your wife drove at 100 miles an hour with your son in your car from Utah. Why were you there? Because Candace, you were off in the rocks and you had some guy, Jose, banging your wife over there. Yeah, I get it. You came back and Mary tells me, yeah, no, I can remember this, but I'm going to blame it on my dad and say, oh, yeah, I could have sworn my dad who has dementia, Doug, because you're going to forget that, right, Doug? No, I'm not. I know he has dementia. How's he going to just remember something out of nowhere and tell you and you're going to believe it? That's because it was coming from you, because you knew for a fact Don got back. And he went to jail right away, right? There's a Jose story that doesn't fit. And poor Jose, rest in peace. Whoever did that to him, you got to deal with that on your own side of the sleeping of the bed. Not me. But I'll tell you what, like, yeah. So Don comes back. And why? Because when you get back, they call 911 on you for standing up for some guy doing something to your wife. Like, they wanted you to fail since day one. If you were anyone who's going to be a pawn in this, it would be Don, right? All I do is work. I don't know, buddy.
That's
Can't remember the first thing he did. Don was in literal shock. He couldn't remember the first thing he did when he got home, and he ended up going to the shed down there for why? Did he have to drop off drugs or anything else that he had going on? Because he was pissed off at Candace, and he was probably going to sleep at that work site like he does, right? Remember, Don used to fight with her or sleep there, but CPS was coming, so he would sleep at the work site the night before or some nights in a row.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what came out, that he would stay at the job site and either sleep in the car.
You didn't see any bags of groceries in that milk video, people. Get it together.
No.
There's no bags of groceries, and that was after the store, right? After they dropped off Hunter, where's all the damn groceries? There was none. There was nothing. There was a soda bottle and Skittles that Hunter would have been sitting on. That bottle would have been lodged in his ass, but he didn't remember that because why? That day was probably a different day, wasn't it? Because you could film what you want a day before or whenever. You could pull that video up for take down a video that you put up a long time ago, right? That you still have on your phone, upload it that day, and it would be a new video.
The only thing grocery-wise we could actually see was the milk.
Yeah. Two gallons of milk that he couldn't remember which side that he stacked them up on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You can't remember this. You can't remember any of that. Huh? Why? Because that day was not that day.
Either that was not.
And Grandis was at home sleeping. Grandis was at home sleeping. So that other voice that you heard in there would have been Grandis. Wasn't Grandis then. That would have not have been Grandis, because if it was that day, it would have been Summer, Grandis, and Candace left driving home. Why wouldn't the boys want to eat anything all day long? Why wouldn't they want to get out of the house all day long? You're going to tell me that she left them at 8 a.m. in the morning home and said that she never took them, but she didn't feed them, didn't have any plans for them all day long? And comes home at 3 o'clock? No, miss me with that shit. Miss me with that.
That's what I don't understand either.
No.
I mean, yeah, I get it. The kids sleep till noon, but you're going to, well.
That means they stay up late. That means that's all night, right? Late all night long. Why? Because parents don't have a schedule.
Exactly.
No.
They have no structure, no anything. And they never did.
Yeah. And Grandis would have been home, sleeping, not at a swim hole. So placing her at a swim hole with a bad knee, how is she going to walk over that rough terrain? You saw that terrain like I did.
Exactly.
You were onto it like I was back then too. You guys didn't want to go back to what makes sense. It's all you got to do. Make it make sense. Who was with who? How did this happen? Why did this happen? Thank you, Debbie. Why? Who? How? Yeah.
If you look at do you remember the TikTok video of Summer in the water?
Mm-hmm.
If you look at that video, when Candace pans that video around and flashes it over on Hunter.
And he's got the gang signs flashing? Yeah.
Yeah. You remember she said in the interview that she walked her mother down there with her,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
her mother was standing
She told
right
Summer,
there.
she told Summer to wait for me and
Yeah.
your mom. And then Hunter went off and walked the other direction to go pee or something, right, in the bushes. Yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah, I
okay,
remember.
she said that when she walked her mother down there, when she made that TikTok video, she
Mhm.
said mom was standing right there by these
Yeah.
flowers.
No, she wasn't.
When she panned that video around,
Just Hunter.
if Candy was standing there, you would have seen her.
Yep.
So she was not there.
Yeah. Because, was Hunter or Candace even there like that? Because like Candace doesn't remember Hunter saving Summer and she was under the water for 15 seconds. Right?
Right.
Or wasn't she?
Yeah. Yeah. Candace says that never happened either.
But Candace also gives me one thing that says that place, they had to go there for some reason to think or plan and plot this out and what they were going to do. I think Summer might have been in the car deceased already. And I think they had to do something with her, Hunter and her. And I think since Grandis couldn't remember, because they said that she was putting time on her phone in the car. But Grandis says in a news interview that she doesn't even know if they went to the horse stables or swimming that day somewhere. I don't know. They went somewhere that day.
Yeah, they
went somewhere that day. I don't remember. I was sleeping. Oh, yeah, you were. Weren't you napping? Yeah, you were. Grandis, you were, huh? That means you weren't at the swim hole when they were. You don't even remember where they went. You would remember that. You would remember you were putting minutes on your phone, like they said.
Yeah, that's what.
But you have Verizon. You're the only one that has service every time and everywhere, too. Remember that. You.
Exactly.
What happened?
That's what they said. But then you got to think, too, why is it that being at that swim hole was so triggering?
When she saw Summer's face, that was the only time she had to light up a smoke. Every other thing we saw.
Exactly.
Brawl Patrol. Probably not, Brawl Patrol, Candace. Oh, that's all I'm saying. Not Mom Patrol, Brawl Patrol. Anybody in Tennessee who does an interview, leave your belly buttons and your boobs inside your shirt, please, for the love of God and everything holy. Just think somebody in the whole world's gonna see, right, Allie? Hello.
I know that's. All that
I always left
stuff
Jose in her
is-
belly button. I always left Jose in her belly button. I always, like the hand would come out and be like, it's, you know what I mean? Or throw a rope ladder down there, or maybe a Mountain Dew and a burrito. You know what I mean?
All that stuff.
Give him a long straw and in a Corona. You know what I mean? Like, I always made funny jokes about it because if he would have stayed there, he would be alive today, and he would have never been inserted into this. He wasn't a superhero. He didn't do that. He was just Jose, and he's gone now, right? He's had 3 kids. He had a wife, an ex-wife. Like he had a chance, not being online. Like he didn't play any part in this. And if we would have just stuck on the timeline, people, this would have been so much easier. And what's the real possibilities? Instead, the games, the playing, the pranks. And Don and Candace, I'm only saying that because you fell into that through all of this and having to figure out the timeline, the games, the pranks, the Donnie is the Jezebel, the bikers got it, the mafia, right? Yeah, all that stuff.
Yeah. The cornbread. Yeah, all that. There was no
Cornbread
reason
mafia.
to insert any of that in there.
So many distractions, right? You want to know why I'm so angry? It's because this could have been done 10, 12 months ago. We could have had Summer where she should be by now.
Exactly. And then you've got, I don't know, all these, not only the people inserting themselves, but you've got all the people that are calling in tips. Oh, this Bones and this and this and that. And then you wonder, why does law enforcement not take anybody seriously whenever they have legitimate information to offer?
That's why they don't want to believe people, because all that nastiness.
Exactly.
So, who's with who? What happened to Summer? Can we make Summer leaving that house alive? I don't know. It's up to you to figure out. Did Summer really get to change? Yeah, who was with who? Where was Grandis, right? Who's the pawn? Who's the player? How did Don and Candace have a conversation for 45 minutes through that holler or through that area? Why she went to look all the way to the Baptist church first, right? I mean, how could that happen when they've never been able to talk for 45 minutes straight and none of their phones work pretty much anywhere, right?
Right.
Exactly. Why are you using Facebook calling and messenger apps and all kinds of apps apps to call each other when, number one, you don't have a good service? Is it because it's easier to hide? Like, why don't you want a record of calling someone from your phone? Why? How? Would Candace be driving through the holler using Candace's Verizon phone that day she talked to Don? So like nobody at the house has a phone that works really, and she's out looking for Summer, but yet she's putting Summer somewhere and then having to move her somewhere else another time. Or does it leave Grandis up for play when she leaves the house? I mean, where did Summer get hurt, or what happened to Summer? It is going to come, but who did it and when did it happen? Is the biggest part. Did she make it to the swim hole? No. And if she did, make it make sense. Make it make sense.
That's the problem with it, though.
So is Don a player in this? Yeah. Did Don do this? I think Don was played pretty damn good. If you want to ask me, Don was played pretty damn good. But Don, at some point, he either found out or has that intuition and knows Candace, because he knows Candace is not, there's no something up, right? There's a reason why they can't break up, right? There's a reason why I always knew that no matter what this junk was going on in the case, like while he was in jail, that I always knew no matter, as soon as he got out, they were going to get back together right away. Right? Because that's their only options for now here on out. Why is that? Why wouldn't you leave to be happy? Because there's no reason why they can't have their kids back. If they didn't do this to Summer, or if somebody in the family didn't do this to Summer, then just because your kid goes missing, or to you guys, doesn't mean you lose all your other kids. Right?
Yeah. I mean, there's a bigger reason there somewhere.
And Josie split up separately from somewhere, right?
That's what we heard, yes.
Yeah, so between the boys, they're split up separately. So you'd have to keep it in your head. The JW-DW theory makes sense too. But is that what happened? Or did Candace screw up big time? Or did Summer get into something? Or what? Was she alive? Where was she the last time she was alive? If we don't have any CCTV, if we can't make Allie's story make sense from when Summer was dropped off and she saw her alive at that time, but didn't really see her alive and felt really bad about it, but yet has to protect Hunter, right? Because now Hunter's over there and was inserted into this. I think Hunter didn't sleep all night long and wasn't really wanting to go anywhere. Candace says, "Hey, I need your help."
Right.
Well, yeah, because who chose the ER visit? What?
Well, yeah, that was according to Candy. Candace is the one that made her go.
Jose didn't do anything. Jose has nothing to do with this. Jose is deceased because of this case. That's what this is with him. Jose had nothing to do with this case at all in relevance to loving Summer and caring about Summer. Like, he really did like Summer a lot. Like, there's no doubt in my mind. He thought she was a little princess. Not in a weird way. He's the only one that said the nicest things about her and the most descriptive things about, better than Dawn, better than her family. He loved Summer for the short time. Yeah. He was a loving person. It's unfortunate what happened to, No, it's just a theory. The JW, it's a JW theory. That's just, if you guys are trying to put it there, it wouldn't be like the Hunter Hunter and Summer thing. Like people thought, like Hunter would have been the Candace thing, right? Hunter and Candace, and it would have been only way Summer. Yeah. But I don't know. Why was Josie in that interview, and why was it, why was he bear hugged by Dawn? I don't know what the crutch is there and if it has any meaning. But again, it was very early on. Yeah, it was very early on. So we have to look at it like that. We have to look at, was she alive there? And why wasn't she in the drive-thru? Was she in the drive-thru with Candace, Grandis, and Hunter in the morning time? You can't make it make sense.
No, you really can't. I mean, because we've not had any proof of that. No. Of where she was at. And there's so many different versions.
What's the phone call too? Remember when Dawn apparently called and Hunter grabbed? By the way, if Hunter were to grab some old lady's phone or an adult's phone, or go through their phone to see what's in it, is it because he's jealous, or is it because something's more going on? Like, cause there's a phone call that they're sitting in a Walgreens, right? Drive-through.
Yeah.
Which time is this? Is this the time that they're picking up the medication now?
I don't remember if they specifically said whether
I think they did all their other shopping in the middle, right? In the interim. And on the way home would have made sense to go back to the Walgreens just to go to home because that was right next to the Walgreens, right? So the
Walgreens was close to the swimming place.
Yeah. So like, but they did the shopping in the in between too, right? They didn't just go to the swim hole, right?
No,
Wasn't all the rest of that stuff happening?
I'm trying to remember here.
You don't have to be exactly right. We'll bring it up. We can always retract it or bring it up when we bring up the video tomorrow. But yeah, it's if the timeline's a little off with what they did, it's more so like the time of a filler. Like what's the filler? Because again, we don't have CCTV at the supermarket, right? Of Summer being on any camera. Sonic doesn't have her.
Not that we have seen. No.
Right. So they get vape pens and they get all that stuff, right? And buys alcohol, all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we can place that Hunter's there for what reason? Hunter's there because he wants something. He wants that alcohol. He wants the tobacco. He wants those vape pens. And those vape pens weren't just tobacco pens. She was getting him the weed ones.
Oh yeah.
Right.
She was.
The payoff, right? The payoff. He's a cheap worker, right? Or you get him screwed up enough to help you do something, Candace, to help figure something out, and you just get him. Yeah, he was a little screwed up when he got home, wasn't he?
Oh yeah, that's what Ellie said.
He was really screwed up. Like I think there was different drugs involved too. I'm not gonna lie. I think there was more than just what meets the eye here.
That's what I've always wondered. I think it was a little bit more than just a twisted tea and a couple of hits off of a pen.
Well, why would she buy a twisted tea for grandma when grandma doesn't even drink?
Yeah, that's always weird.
Yeah. You can email me, Alicia. Today we're just going to get people interested again, and tomorrow I'm going to bring the video out and stuff. But I mean, I want you guys to think, because is this a theory to go with, and which one of these are you placing your theories with? This is a think tank. I'm starting you guys off with how I'm breaking things down with this timeline, but the timeline is the most important thing, right? That's the biggest part of this timeline.
It is.
Timeline. So
it's definitely.
Who are the players and what's the timeline? All the other people brought in are not unnecessary to even ever get to. I think, like the flute guy, the church. I don't want to bring people into this that aren't responsible for this. Of course, right?
No, we're not trying to do that. No, actually, we're trying to. That's the people we're trying to separate.
It's really hard to talk about it without saying their names, right? Yeah, it is kind of tough.
It is.
And so it's like, but I want you to understand, like, I want to do cases like this to where we don't involve innocent people and see what the outcome is and then the repercussions have been. It's been terrible for people. The Jose's, the other people involved, like that was never necessary. And the deep digging like that on certain people. Yeah. That's the stuff that you do behind the scenes. And then when you have something to actually put that together, then bring it out. I mean, yeah, everybody wants the clicks and the views, but do you see the damage that has been done in this case just alone?
Exactly.
Yeah, what's the first thing you should ever do is make it make sense in the beginning. Who was with who when she went missing? And just because people stayed at the house and all that stuff, yeah, that's important. It's important. But like, what's more important is the things that Candace has said, like the mother that she's turned into be, that we've seen, and then learning her background and all that stuff, that she's done that helicopter mom, and that she's honest in some things. Like she said, yeah, the kids will sleep until 12 if you let them. And if you know that her body language and the way she's talking, her and Dawn both slip in certain things that are true and factual. And if you just, like I said, put them together, right? You can't make sense of that. And Hunter going back to that house twice that day is planning. Like they needed to get rid of Summer somehow. Do I think they know more? Yeah, possibly. And we're just thinking, you guys.
That's what I've always wondered is what exactly, if anything at all, does Hunter remember that he's not already told?
Mm-hmm. And I don't mind having panels about this, you guys. I want to know who's coming on panel ahead of time, just so we can control what happens in this case. It's not that I want to control the narrative. I want to control people trying to ruin the stream or ruin like porn bomb and stuff that happens. We've seen it all. We don't want to do that here, right? No, so if you email me and we figure it out behind the scenes, I'll have you come up. I'll send you the link that way so we can verify you and everything. So if you want to come on, we can do that whenever you guys want. I have no problem. But tonight we're just getting this case interested again, because you got to remember there's so many different things that have made this case not go back to the beginning. Why are they wanting you not to know what happened at the beginning? And all the confusion and things is, well, that's where it happened. It happened at the beginning, right?
That's where all the pieces are missing from. So that's that leads you to believe that, that's where you got to start, of course.
So getting back to Hunter, even people want to say Hunter in there, and I'll start kind of spreading things out and putting it into theory, whatever you're saying. I'll see if it makes sense. But like the Hunter has this, well, how do I say it? He has I don't want to say it's a disability. I have ADHD, and I don't consider it. I consider it kind of, depending if my brain doesn't stop at nighttime for a little bit. I consider it, it's a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing and a curse. I don't look at it as a disability. He had, what was the game he was playing? He has he was pushing
fidget
poppers, the fidget spin, the fidget thingy.
Yeah,
he has
little fidget poppers, yeah.
Right. So that causes yawning.
No, I don't.
Right. So when that interview is going on, and you could tell the fidgets, like, let's break it down. Like that interview at the table, it tells a story. It tells Grandis, our great grandbun at the table. She's there for support, autism, right? Okay. She's there for support, and to help guide the story through.
Yeah.
Right?
How about you don't tell somebody how to run their channel? See you there.
It's all good.
Sorry.
It's all good. So let's just talk about that. Like the yawning, right? The lying, the phone grabbing, when he talks about it, he grabs the phone at the Walgreens, right? And he's so concerned about who's in the phone. Like the drug dealer talk is like, that's brought up, right?
Yeah.
Because whatever Candace has filtered into him, he can't remember, right? He's doing his damnedest, his best his best he can to remember, right? And Allie's got to kind of help funnel the situation. But again, they're protecting Hunter, and I don't blame them. Right?
Well, no, I mean,
she doesn't want to get in trouble because she wasn't being the mom she was supposed to be, and didn't give him permission to leave, and he still left. And if they found out that he left and went over he's not allowed to go to their house on Ben Hill Road. Hunter isn't, because he's not allowed out of that area without probation or his mom approving it. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So that all
I don't know. That kind of goes back to, who do you believe in that situation, though? Because he claims, remember, he said mom was asleep in the back room or in the bedroom, however he said it.
He's that little gangster kid that really doesn't know what to do, like really how to get out of this one. Right? I think it's the storytelling, right? It's the line. Like, he doesn't have, like, when he's not lying, when he's just talking about things that he knows and things, he's not as bad. But when you're asking him questions, like, 'cause he even says, "Hey, stop. Did you see how cool that car was?" Or he starts looking at something else, and he's like, "Oh, Chris, like, what are you looking at?" And he's like, "Oh, it was just a cool car that just drove by." Right? Like,
yeah, he's like easily distracted. Yeah.
He's smart. Kid's smart. It's very smart. Kid's very smart. It's just a horrible liar and a horrible criminal. And he was drugged up and drinking at the time.
Yeah.
And whatever else he was doing. Yeah, whatever else he was doing. Poor kid. Right? He never had a chance. Hunter never had a chance. Look at his family.
No.
Never had a chance.
He didn't, and he never should have been involved in the middle of this either.
No, he should have never gone back to that house that day. She really enticed him when you can't figure out who called who, when she's trying to say that, and they know this with well, I don't know. Can they tell who called who if you erase your Facebook calling? Because remember, they call through Facebook, and she was at the hospital last time, and he was Facebook messaging her. So a lot of messaging apps and things are being used through all this, right?
Yeah.
So it's hard to put together who will call.
Yeah,
but there's so much secrecy going on. Why is she messaging? Why is she only Facebook apping him and not just calling the phone? Doesn't make sense. It's hiding stuff.
Yeah.
She's hiding stuff. Same reason why she was calling them from him.
She's probably got her Facebook Messenger and stuff password protected and log out of it every time you're done, and that way nobody else can get into it. Yeah.
Or use Grandis's phone when she wants to drive through the holler and talk to Don for 45 minutes straight without dropping a phone call. Just, Grandis, I'm going to use your phone. You've been home sleeping all day anyway. In 2 to 5 minutes, I'll fix your knee. And we potted cactus. Remember, that's the story. I'll be back. I got to go search Ben Hill. Or like, would her brothers even know? Because I do believe the brothers were there when they got home. And we'll just get to it again. I'm just giving you guys some ideas. But when they get home, so let's just say Summer is home with them, right? Or with Candace and everyone. Say they get home, like, what Candace says, the first thing she goes inside, she jumps up right away. Like, Summer jumps up like it's just nobody's business, right?
Yeah, that's what
every time
said. Yeah.
Yeah,
as
she
soon as-
really,
as soon
she
as
really,
the-
really makes that clear. When they get home, she jumps right up. But the only thing that we heard about anybody seeing Summer in the car was her sleeping in it. The tree cutters.
Yes.
What time would they have been there? They got there between 8 and 4. They were there between 8 and 4:30, I think, that day.
Yeah, somewhere around in there.
So would they see Summer sleeping in the morning time? Like, did somebody just put Summer in the car asleep after they put her in her bathing suit? Right? And were the tree cutters already right there to see in the car that far up the hill? 8:30 in the morning? Yeah.
See, that's
around
what
there.
I don't. That's
What-
what
what-
doesn't make sense to me.
So if she jumped up when they first got home, that means the tree cutters didn't see her sleeping in that time.
No. But it doesn't make sense to me that they would be seeing her anyway. They are clearing trees
Right.
from the electric lines, which is behind Candy's camper
Makes sense, right?
and down the hill.
So nobody
They
saw
would
Summer
have-
that day.
They would have no reason to be up there in their driveway. They're not clearing trees out of their driveway. So it doesn't make any sense how the tree cutting people could say that they saw her in the car.
I just don't understand, Don, how you could be working on high-end houses, doing drywall, doing this, and you see how your house looks? Damn, put a gate around your whole house if you don't want people coming into it. Nobody's going to steal your junk anyway. Like, do I feel like that
Exactly.
somebody walked up there to steal from you guys? No. What do you have that I want or anyone wants?
No, but do you
Broken
remember
down school
what
bus?
you do remember what he said though? People were stealing the smart dogs and leaving the stupid ones. So I do remember him saying that. So
You
maybe
did say
maybe
that.
maybe the tree people were trying to steal a smart dog. Maybe that's
June
what they were doing
15th. I
up
mean,
there.
why would the dogs go to a doggy day camp and have margaritas and play cards all day and come back on the 16th or just leave on the 15th? But well, Candace said there was actually dogs because they were sleeping in the middle, or they were actually a litter of dogs.
under
Or-
the house?
So there were dogs there. I mean,
Yeah.
did all the dogs leave that day? No, probably not. I mean, but why would they just leave that one day?
Yes,
Doesn't-
that never made any sense to me either.
Mm.
You've got
No.
like 23 dogs, and they're all gonna just decide, okay, today's the day, pups, let's go.
Yeah, it wasn't going to happen that way.
We're out of here. We'll come back tomorrow. Like it doesn't make sense.
So now here's the variable now. Was it decided it had to be that day? Was it that day because of CPS? Because all this stuff gets brought up, and it's all stuff that we know today that is true. But do we know how true, all of it is to this point? The timing, because we know that there was a case that we heard that was closed by one creator said it was closed right before this happened. And then we had another one and confirmed that they were supposed to come on the 16th. Right? CPS was
Right.
supposed to be showing up.
That's what people were saying. Yes,
Yeah.
that they
So-
were supposed to be there the next day.
So what do we know then? Can we bring CPS as one of the options is why they have to get Summer gone? And why would they have to get Summer gone and not the other boys? Or are they losing the kids? Does any of that make sense that people brought up? Like, I don't know if that makes
Yeah.
any sense.
That's what never really made sense to me.
Mm-mm.
Is one of your children disappearing is not a way to get CPS off your back.
And usually
Like
pay
that.
attention who's in the car. They don't even care. Right? Yeah. Look, nobody knows anything about that day, who was supposed to be with who. It's so confusing, right?
It is.
Yeah, but we got to know they went to these certain places. We have what they got us through McDonough's, the interview room stuff, right? The interviews for that's basically all we really got. We never really got anything from TBI. Let's be honest.
No.
Uncle Ronnie hasn't been really on the case. I mean, they've gotten more on his DUIs and all of the recent stuff, but there really wasn't anything. And Don and Candace, if you really go back to it, the really reason why Leslie comes into this, Leslie was at the football game. Okay. Apparently this is where Allie is I think is lying too, because usually when you leave your phone in your car, and Allie changed up and she definitely went on Prayer Gardens of America. And I'll have to say that for reference. And if you guys want to go over there and check it out, she was on Prayer Gardens of America for a really long time. She started going on it a lot. And I was like, is she the next one that's going to start a channel? Because everybody started a channel. We had the Jody Sues, we had the Don's Wells officials. We have all this stuff, right? Everyone's starting a channel profiting off of Summer, but nobody wants her to be found. Why? Because it's the most money they've ever made in their life. It's the best lifestyle they've ever had. Most Marlboros, right? Jody Sue, you've ever had stacked up. Most times you ever got your hair done. Did you see the progression of Jody Sue's change Yeah, her hair, her makeup, everything was changing.
Oh yeah,
Right.
the Marlboro 1000s. Yeah.
Right. So, like, do we take them for what they say? I can't believe anything that comes out of their mouths. They have
No,
hate
I
for each
really,
other. Hate for each other.
I really don't. I really don't think we can.
Andy and Jody Sue and all those people in the holler. Nobody liked Don and Candace. They all
No.
wanted them gone. They were a hindrance because Don drew too much heat. Candace drew too much heat to that area, to what they were doing. So, is it possible somebody in that area wanted that to stop? Yeah, very possible. Right.
It is. I mean, you've got domestic violence situations going on that's bringing cops over there. They've got CPS coming to their door. It's not doing well for the other people in the neighborhood.
Anybody else's heads ringing? Anybody else's heads ringing? Like, there's so many things to actually think about. Like, yeah, like to me, like, yeah, taking Summer. Yeah, that. What would that actually do, though? What point are you making taking Summer from them?
Yeah, see, that doesn't.
You got to make that make sense, though, right?
Yeah, I mean, and really, right now, I can't. Like,
me neither.
Because at that point, if you're trying to like get back at them because they're bringing so much attention, that's going to bring even more.
Right.
So that kind of seems, really counterproductive. So no, I can't make.
Yeah,
that
it makes
make
no sense. Yeah, they're not going to get back at Don and Candace for that. What I mean, why wouldn't they just like the solution would be killing Don and Candace? That's what they would do out there in the holler. That's what if they were really wanted to get rid of them.
Yeah, or
they own all the land out there. They could bury you anywhere they want. I mean, think about it. If they have Summer somewhere, I mean, they had to check their own properties, right? What are you going to tell on yourself for having buried bodies on there and meth labs and stuff? No, you'd be like, yeah, no, I didn't find anything. But Ziggy might be able to, you're calling some bones later on, right? Which is incredible. This is why we don't do stuff like this. Like, no, you don't do bones. Nothing.
That is the
tragic.
That is the craziest thing to me.
Tragic.
Search your own property and report back if you find anything.
That's why the bones came out, right? Because that's what left the open to the door to all the people that wanted to make that what it wasn't. Am I exaggerating? Like, no, I don't think they might have stuff buried out there, but probably like money and guns. But like, I doubt if they have any bodies over there. The lights in the hill, like, nah, come on. I'm not going to call them murderers.
I mean,
nah.
What worst case scenario? What are they doing? Growing some weed out there or something?
Well, here's why the lights became relevant. Is because Don was so scared of the lights. Hey, Don's like, well, basically, I'm not going to say their name again, buddy. Even on the phone to me, he's like, oh, I don't even want to bring them up, buddy. No, really. I can't even search because people are following me and chasing me. I have to walk around with a flare gun. And yeah, you make fun of it, but Don couldn't search. Yeah, they made it impossible for Don really to go out alone because so many people wanted his head on a stick. Yeah, it would probably look good on a stick. But like, I'm not trying to get him killed.
No.
I want him to look for his daughter, but literally they were supposed to stay home right away. They weren't supposed to leave and go look for their daughter right away. The parents were supposed to stay home. TBI was set up there. They're like, just stay here in case she comes home and we'll deal with out there. Right?
Well, that's typical. That's that's what they do in any missing child case or missing person.
So what's important about that then is Leslie is the one, again, circling back to Leslie. She's the one on the phone with Candace when Candace is downstairs.
Yep.
And they said Candace was what? She was all drunk and high and screwed up. Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah.
I believe it. That's what I'm going to believe why Leslie plays a role in here. It's because her phone actually was the phone that worked because Allie's was dead, according to Allie. When they got to the football field, Hunter had to call Leslie's phone because her phone was dead. Yeah. Right?
Yeah. She said that her phone, Allie's phone was charging in the car.
So Leslie's relevant to an extent. Then Leslie is one of the last people that talked to Candace that night with Allie.
Yeah,
Allie was not friends. Remember, none of them like each other. Why would you be consoling? So why are you consoling each other if you don't like each other? I'm confused.
Which is weird to me is why would Candace even call her in the first place if they're not friends? They've had a falling out. They don't talk to each other. So why is she going to be the first person you call?
Could a lot more people than just Don and Candace be covering this up, or Don or whoever you think has done this? Could other people being helped cover this up? I mean, obviously they're having to because all the lies and the stories from that table, right?
Right.
Yeah, they're not stupid. I'm going back to Hunter. He's not stupid. The fidget, all that stuff, not a disability. People, he's not
No.
stupid. Well, if you consider it a disability, it could be, but like not to me. The autism with him,
Right.
like he's using more of his brain than he should somewhere. He's doing too much.
Exactly.
And mixing that with alcohol and other drugs, like they done screwed him up to where nobody could remember what happened that day. And it's so confusing when you get the story, especially if you put out an interview where it just doesn't go to the cops. It leaves all of this open. I mean, again, this would have been solved by now and had nobody got involved to the extent they got involved. But they're not book smart. They're I mean, street smart. I mean, he's got like a past, like, but like, I think he got sucked into having to help hide Summer somehow, and like everybody's having to cover for everybody, right?
Yeah, I've always wondered about that too.
They're getting people like that are like YouTube channels and people who are like nobody to be able to like even diagnose anybody or take anybody or say anybody's not a suspect any longer. I mean, everybody's still a suspect till LE says they're not. Right.
Right. And law enforcement is not talking about Summer Wells anymore.
Mm-mm.
They've not came out and gave an update in forever.
And I kind of wanted to bring the JW DW kind of thing up and the Hunter and Candace thing up because there's a gentleman who called into that Smiley Worlds thing, right?
Yeah.
And like I had plans to play some of it tonight, but that's why I've tried to just dance around it for a little bit because it's kind of placing things that make some of this make sense, but at the same rate, how do we believe it, right? Like why is this online? Why is this coming out online again, right?
Yeah, that's a big question.
It's like they want to get their kids back. They're complaining it's everyone else's fault, and at this point, I'm starting to see that Don is such a pawn, and Grandis is well. Candy Hare is probably pissed off at Candace Bly Wells without conferring with her about how to make somebody go missing before. And I'm not saying that Candace Hare did anything to her daughter.
Right.
But I'm saying like maybe talk to your mom before you throw her under the bus. You know, it's a great time to go get her medicated. Candace, you had her go to the ER. It wasn't your mom's idea. You told your mom you're going to the ER.
Yeah, wasn't
your mom. If your mom was in pain, she would have said, "Hey, can you take me to the ER?" So, Candace, to me, you started coordinating this stuff from the very beginning, and you used people. Well, at the end of the day, Don was your biggest pawn. Don on the job, like Don's going to have to trust you, right? Because you guys have that, like, the criminal code. The 911 call you're not going to get until we get to court. Yeah,
no, we're not going to get that.
Mm-mm. Listen, there's a lot of circumstantial evidence somewhere. We're just not hearing it. I mean, are they doing it the right way? Is law enforcement doing it the right way? And all these people who trash this case are pissed off because they're not getting the answers they want?
I don't know, but with them not coming out and giving any kind of press updates, they don't even speak her name to let us know they're even still working on this case. I think that's what puts a bad taste in people's mouths. It makes them think that this case is, going to end up being a cold case and not solved.
So is Don and Candace guilty then?
They keep saying TBI keeps saying pretty much they've got nothing.
This is a long time it's a long time for the parents still to be out of jail. I mean, look at circumstantial evidence cases, usually 13 months, 14 months, or in Orson West, 13, 14 months.
Yeah, that's why I'm
12,
saying
13, 14 months.
That's why I'm saying it kind of leads people to believe that, they've got nothing.
Or maybe they do. It's just
because nobody has been charged with anything yet.
So is Don and Candace guilty? I mean, it would lead me to believe that Don wouldn't know anything until he got home, really, or whatever Candace had told him over the phone. Again, my theory would be leaning towards Candace knowing what happened, being a part of it. We know Hunter's not supposed to be there, and he was used as a kind of a pawn in my theory, right? But all my theories is coming on the timeline and who's with who at that time, right?
Right.
Yeah. So again, it's not important if I'm right or wrong about all the little things I throw in, right? I'm just throwing out think tank things to make you guys think, I'm playing devil's advocate on some things too, trying to get you guys to think out the box and think about it. Like who was used? I mean, did Dawn and Candace sit up the night before? Since we don't know if Candace was even in bed, she could have been a nervous wreck or getting high already or staying high, whatever she was doing, right? All we know is what happened in the morning when Dawn leaves or Dawn gets up. He says he gets up and he's with Summer in bed. He says she usually sleeps between us, though. He doesn't say she slept between us that night. He says that she usually sleeps between us in our bed, right? Yeah. So is Candace in bed or not? I don't know. He says he hates when Candace is dirty and he doesn't want to sleep with a dirty child, right? So he's the one who bathes Summer. So I'm assuming he doesn't want to sleep with a dirty wife, right? Like Candace is disgusting. Have you seen under her nails before? Pretty gross. Not gonna lie.
Well, Dawn's also the same one that said that Candace didn't shower. So
yeah. So what makes sense? Was she sleeping upstairs on the couch, passed out, like we saw her, like she was on Heron? Or is he down there with her? And is she plotting and planning, or was Summer even there at that point? Or like, was she taking somewhere? Like, Candace could have gone and drove somewhere at nighttime and took Summer and put her somewhere at the night before, between the hours of 1 and 4 a.m., go and drop her 4 hours away and come back even. It's still 8 o'clock then. Like, you have 4 hours. That means you got 2 hours to drive one way and 2 hours to drive the way back. You can get Summer way out of there. Unfortunately, I guess it's due to mass shooting. Guys, our prayers for the families and the people in that shooting. I'm sorry. We'll cover that another time, but not right now. I appreciate that. It's a sad thing. We've been covering those all year long so far. It's been 2/3 of the year that have been mass shootings. I'm good on that right now, but thank you. I'll make a video about it. This is more important right now. This summer's our goal. Yeah. So like all the stuff I throw in, like I said, so the timeline, most important. Who was with who? Did Grandis get dropped off after the hospital, the first Walgreens visit? I do believe so. She was dropped off at the house. Yeah. And Hunter came back to the house that day. What time did they actually leave to go to the swim hole, do all this and that? Well, they already dropped off the prescription, right?
Yeah, they did.
Right. So why go home and pick it, then go back just to pick it up? Hey, Mom, no worry. They already gave you the medication at the hospital. You're a little drowsy. You're going to go to sleep. Now Candace is in play with whatever she needs to do, because Candace either took Summer at that time when they got home, or Summer had already been taken somewhere else, like by somebody, right? She didn't get taken right when they get home with the groceries. She didn't go pot cactus. I think the spearmint thing is just something that she normally does, but they said they wash their hands inside too, but none of the water works inside the house in Grandis's trailer.
No, they had said they washed their hands inside, but then they turned around and said that there was a bucket on the back of Dawn's truck that had water in it, and they washed their hands in the bucket.
Yeah, because that's when we finally got, figure out that inside that trailer, that bathroom was filled up with junk.
Yeah, she was using it for a storage, and she would have to go over to the house to use the bathroom. That's why they always left the door unlocked.
Yeah. So is it possible that the kids didn't lock the door all the time, or they wouldn't lock the door all the time because she likes to go into the house and use the bathroom? And that's the standard thing. So yeah, the door's always open. Did she wander off? It makes that theory possible, but no, she didn't just walk off. She wasn't pissed. Yeah, Dawn threw one of her cats outdoors or whatever, and the dogs got it, right?
Yeah, we did hear that story.
It was pretty mean, Dawn. It was pretty rude, Dawn. You did this, but there's no water in the trailer, but we didn't figure out that till later. Just like the later that we figured out that she took a nap, right? Then we had to figure out when did she take a nap, because it didn't fit into the other timeline that they were pushing.
No.
Some of the timeline that they have, we have to use, right? Because it's what Candace said and what Hunter said. So, and what we can actually do with receipts, right? With knowing that they went somewhere. They either went to Sonic or they went to the store and got the groceries. Like they would be seen on CCTV. We could prove they were there at least, right?
Yes.
But Grandis, why would she go inside, and how fast could they get in and out of that store also? In 5 minutes, they said, right? They went shopping for 5 minutes. They were in and out in 5 minutes.
Well, that's what Candace says, but Hunter says it was a lot longer than that.
Well, it would have to be.
That him and Summer were sitting in the car scrolling through TikToks, he said, for like an hour.
Right. But I mean, Grandis has a bad knee. How is she going to get in and out in 5 minutes? And usually you can get inside and then maybe to the line in 5 minutes, but you're not in and out in 5 minutes. Like none of the timeline is right with them. I would say internally, like at the house. I mean, the fillers with the groceries separating, right? It was just milk and cheese, but why was she separating Grandis's groceries from her groceries? I mean, what? She only got milk and cheese. No bags in that picture, people. You guys didn't see any bags in that car. We'll get to the car right now in the milks, but there was no bags in there, right? No milks. Again, Hunters didn't know where he sat. He didn't remember the soda bottle, the Skittles, nothing on the seat.
None of that.
So can that be a different day? Is that a different day? I think it's 100% a different day.
Completely could be.
Yeah.
That timeline could have been whenever. Remember the whole conversation of what was it, June the 4th?
Yep. June the 4th. Yeah. When he asked
It was the same scenario. It was like, hey, what are you doing? Taking mama to the hospital, you know.
I thought that was a dry run. Thought they were going to do it that day. I thought maybe Summer was supposed to go missing that day. I don't know, but I mean, Candace never wanted girls, right? Never wanted a daughter. She wanted to adopt Summer out, right?
Yeah, we had heard that too. That originally the plan was to let Grandis or Candy take Summer, but then Don was not going to get on board with that. He was like, "No, you're not doing that."
I mean, nobody ate all day long. They didn't pack snacks. They didn't pack fishing poles. They didn't pack fishing gear.
No.
Hunter brings up the water park. The water park wasn't even supposed to be that day. They were supposed to talk about that for next week or something like that. And he's like, "Oh yeah, that's not even that. That wasn't even the day that we did that," because he can't remember what he's supposed to talk about. He's a pawn. He didn't do anything to Summer. He may have helped. He may have helped unwillingly. That's for damn sure.
Well,
And drugged up and alcoholed up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what that's what I
I mean,
think.
you'd figure if they wanted to, they could just arrest Candace for giving him alcohol underage alcohol. Like they could arrest Candace right now, but then what is they gonna do? It's not gonna bring home Summer yet.
No.
It will bring home Summer eventually because I think Candace knows what baby Huey ass looking knows more. And I'm tired of the lies because I've talked to both of you guys and I know how you guys work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think if we had to pick one person that knows 100% what happened there, it would have to be Candace.
I would say so. I'm gonna say alleged.
I mean-
Like it would if we're gonna allege, right? Yeah, it would have to be in my eyes.
It would have to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if we're going with, Don's timeline, he was at work, he wasn't even there. So that takes him completely out of the equation if we are to believe, in fact, he stayed at work all day. So then that puts the only adults that were potentially there with Summer would be Candace and Candy and, well, Hunter, he's not technically an adult, but he places himself there with her.
Yep.
So it would have to be on the three of them to know what happened.
A lot to think about, right? A lot to wonder.
Exactly.
Yeah. So who's hiding what? So like, when did Summer? When did this happen to Summer again? We have a scream that we hear about, right?
Yep.
Now, again, I could be totally wrong. Again, my theories and stuff, I'm only working them into the timeline. But again, I know I'm pretty close on who was with who from that morning to that afternoon, right? I'm pretty sure that Summer was left at home with the boys. Was Summer alive at that time? I don't know even. I can't tell you. But I can't tell you if Summer was even alive on that day with facts because nobody really saw her. No CCTV can prove that. No videotape, no nothing. For somebody to say that she didn't eat, a little 5-year-old didn't eat from the morning that she was woken up at 7 a.m. till 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I call bullshit. My 5-year-olds, my 3-year-olds, when they were hungry and they were hungry, thirsty throughout the day. We were on a schedule though, like, cause that's what I did with my kids. But like, you'd have to wonder, like, why wouldn't you ever work any of that into the equation when you're a parent? And it's not because you're just a crappy parent. They just didn't eat. They didn't need to eat. What does someone need to eat for, right? Your other boys, you didn't even work that into the equation about them eating, which leads me to believe like maybe Grandis was at home cooking food for maybe the boys.
Feed them?
Or helping them.
Did we feed y'all one day last week? you complaining
Yeah,
about?
treat some. Yeah, you eaten before, haven't you? We fed you at least once.
Exactly.
I mean,
That's what I'm saying. We fed y'all yesterday. Be quiet.
I want to find just like a quick video for you guys because I want you guys thinking. Because when we come back here, I'm going to bring some videos that are going to make you think even more about that. That Grandis, really, she said that she's really mad at Candace Bly. She was really mad at one time when she left to go with her brother, live with her brother,
Yeah.
stay with her brother, go get hospital visits over by her brother because they had better hospitals out there, right? She left and she wanted to get the hell out of Dodge, didn't she?
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah, she did. When she's usually one calling 911 to get Don in trouble, just like in the past every time. Even down to the washer where she's like, yeah, I broke my thumb on the washer, and then she lights the lighter and stuff, and the cops are like, oh, you didn't break your thumb, you just lit the lighter. Yeah, Don's a pawn. To me,
that's what it
he
looks
rushes
like.
home and gets the story the way he was given it, and he's the one who talks to the cops. Why? Because, well, Candace was so screwed up that night, right? Leslie and they talked with her.
Yeah, according to Leslie and Allie both, Candace was like, "Yeah, I'm not going out there. I'm not going out there and talking to them." She let Dawn and Candy go out there and deal with it.
It's just weird. Like they really wanted to talk to her and find out why the hell you had my son. Why was Hunter with you?
Exactly.
Why was Hunter with you? Why did you take Hunter? Why did you come over? You know what's going on and what happened. Like Allie and everybody has to know what Hunter has done with Candace. Like obvious. There was a fallout, a huge fallout.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And originally it wasn't that she was going to see Hunter that day. She said she was actually going to stop over and see Sherry, but Sherry wasn't home. So she went over to Hunter's house there. And that's where she changed Summer. She was originally going to see Sherry too. Like they weren't friends. Like there was no reason for, if Candace is not allowed over there and he's not allowed to hang out with her, there's no way that Allie would be okay with Candace going to that house and going inside to change Summer, because like Allie didn't even want to go out to the truck because see how big of a spread out that was between the street and the house, where Candace didn't want to leave the truck and go say hi or let Allie come even by to see. Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
Someone's covering. Yeah, Allie's covering for her son and her own ass. Yeah, her own ass for not being a good mom too. Yeah,
exactly.
So many charges could be handed out right now, but they're not doing it to these people yet. Why? Because they know a little bit more. We're just figuring out why until this happens. We're going to keep the interest going and her name out there in the proper way until at least we can figure out when are they going to arrest somebody? They're waiting to. We may not find little Summer Wells' body, but we're going to find answers. Right? They're going to have to talk. Yeah, they're going to have to talk.
It seemed I don't know. Like I said, I wish they would at least come out and do something. Do some kind of update, do something to let people know that they're still working on this.
Because people were calling it a flop house for a long time, the Ben Hill Road address. Like they made that house a lot of bad things, but that house actually is on a beautiful property. I think it's beautiful for what I've seen, the drone footage and stuff. I think that looks cool, but like the house is crappy. They built it, but like
the land is beautiful. I mean, if they would completely just demolish that house and start over from the ground up, it would, would be a beautiful place to live there.
That's what all the hauler would want, right?
Exactly.
Them out of there. So again, I think the hauler is the people that just want them gone. I don't think that Fred Light or the Hills or whatever, Lights the Hills, the Jody Sue Brown, they just they use this to make money or some of them did. I mean, some want to lay low, like the Lights and stuff. They want to lay low. Right. I'm not going to talk too much more about them until we need to get to that part of it. But I really just think that something bad happened and Candace did the cover up. And I don't know if Dawn and Candace, this happened the night before. I don't know if something happened, but we know Andy saw her the night before, right?
Yes, that's right.
So that place is her alive. So did something happen after Andy left? That would be the only time that I think Summer would pass. But her brothers would be able to say if they saw her, right? Like her brother's testimonies are probably the biggest testimony of all, right? Besides the 911 call. Excuse me 1 second.
Yeah, the last time that the brothers saw her would be a very important piece. But unfortunately, I mean, with them being minors, we're not going to get that information. Right. Unless, of course, once it actually people get charged and it goes to court, then yes, that information's going to come out, but not until then.
Right. Thank you for joining, Beverly. Again, I didn't know how I wanted to do this show tonight. I had like some plans going, and then of course, me not having service really screwed up everything. And my sending myself all the stuff that I had needed over here. But again, like I said, we're going to get through this. I wanted to get the interest invented into this.
Definitely.
We're going to watch a video real quick. We have about 20 more minutes left. And tomorrow when we do this, it's going to be a lot more structured again, you guys. But I wanted to make sure you guys think about what is important here. The key players, not all the stuff that the mumbo jumbo, everything that came in, all the pranks. The pranks are important only because, well, they did that while their daughter was missing.
Yeah.
Right. That's why that's important. That just leads me to believe if they're willing to do pranks, and Candace was behind all this too, the pranks, right? It seems like anything to screw up this case, right?
Of course. I mean, that's the way that looks. Yeah.
So we're going to do this way. I'm sorry, you guys, again, but yeah, you got to think more to this. And it goes back to all the people that are being protected for what has happened, right? And the people willing to do the pranks more than once. Candace and Don was brought into that prank, right? I don't know whose idea it was to get, say Donnie was gone, but like, I'm pretty sure that was a Candace idea and some other dude with a beard or something like that. But they had some weird ideas, right? So if you're willing to do that when your daughter's missing, you're willing to, well, I think so. You're willing to do something to your daughter like that, not SA, but like kill and hide or accident and hide. Yeah. Didn't want to get in trouble for that.
Yeah, it's definitely all things you have to keep on the table for sure.
Yeah. It's an older video.
Well, I'm talking about anybody who's going up to Ben Hill for any other reason than living there right now.
I got you.
There's no reason to go.
We've had,
Right.
yeah, exactly. But the thing is, we've had a constant stream because you got to think. I don't care what Keys on said. We lived there till just a few weeks ago, right? Like what, middle of September, right? So, the thing is what you had in there were a bunch of YouTube crazies, Facebook crazies, people going real life, and we all kept waiting for, because I mean, no matter who it is, you still have it. All of us are like, great, now we live beside of a known predator. We know Dawn is one. Plus, news come out of how many they had on that hill visiting and friends with. And then we have potentially, if a stranger did this or whoever did this to Summer, and so we're all waiting to see if that person comes back. But you can't tell that traffic because here's the actual internet interfering in that, because we don't know who the cars coming in. Our children had people sneak around the properties at night, but you can't do what you normally do to protect yourself because it's like and you could end up hurting like a cop or somebody else. So it's been tied in our hands with what's happening.
If I lived in the country, I'd been like, howdy, you guys need something to drink, something to eat. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's not the country you guys live in.
As far as Summer up to the house, the only Summer really come up to the house. The only times I can remember her actually being there is maybe the couple times I watched him for Candace and over at my place, because most of the time I watched him over at her place.
All four?
And yeah. And then
what were the boys like? Before you get into that, were the boys quiet? Were one of them more rowdy than the other? Was one the leader?
Yeah, I mean the oldest is always kind of the leader, but then you have the second one in line was always he always probably the happiest, and then you have the youngest boy, and he was happy, but his verbal skills weren't so good when he was real young, and but he are all pretty free willing and wild, and but
Summer
that's not
Humper?
their honestly, the thing is, it's like, and I even asked the news not to really touch on it because a lot of my main memories and things of summer are not really all that happy, right? It's of her at like the door and her being nude out in the yard in such a strange way. And it's kind of like her own little boss.
So you got to take some of this into consideration when she talks. Like, is she telling the truth? Like, are they letting Summer run around naked in the front yard? That's different than just. I mean, because that really leaves that angle open that we could be the timeline could still be on and somebody could have still taken Summer, right? And when we heard the scream or when the alleged scream, it all kind of works in the time. Either that or Candace could have walked up and Summer was deceased somehow, and she screams out of disgust or something, or she didn't know what happened because she went off to go get her drugs or something and came back, and instead of her playing with her toys, she was backed over by the car or something. Like, could have been something, because Grandis was just inside her trailer. Like, she wasn't doing anything but sleeping.
Yeah, I mean, those are all definitely options.
They had to wake her up.
And
this is Jody. This is Joe Shu.
I don't know if they're letting her run around naked outside or run around naked anywhere for that matter is weird to me. But
this is really because like they're really pushing, like, the things she says. Sometimes I wonder if it's strategic, because like she's really like pushing now that the whole SA thing is out right in the air here.
Yeah.
We can just pull that out for a second. Everyone's going with that direction, making it. Oh, well, Dawn's got to be guilty, right? It's got to be Dawn. Thank you, Deb. Are you here?
Of course. I mean, after all that information, once that information about Don came out, once he actually told on himself on that, I think that's kind of where that narrative went for everybody after that point.
That's another one that came out. Did you see what you've done? Or he said, "What have you done?" Yeah, to the kids. Yeah, that all plays into it. See, that's why we're think tanking. It makes you guys remember everything. Like, yeah, they did say that. But like, are they like, why does she keep saying the last time I saw Summer was she was taking a shower, she was naked, like everything's naked with her. Like, never seen her dressed. I don't know if they're running a narrative. I think really this is all for her to be on panels, running people around in circles. Like she hated these people so much that they didn't care. She didn't care if they found Summer.
No, I don't really think so.
Not at all. She thought Dawn was the one peepee tomming. Like, the last thing she cared about was them staying there.
Exactly.
Yeah, that was one thing that was supposedly said. I don't take her for a fan.
Dawn was definitely a person.
She was teamed up with a lot of bad
she was
people.
around, she was really shy, or if she knew you, she would talk to you, and do whatever. But she wasn't unhappy, like, I heard more 3 calls for her. I knew something was wrong, but I gave it. I don't know how many calls. By the time I reached on the driveway, it was quite a few at that point. My mind already started putting that noise we heard
scream. That's what I was looking
together with and thinking the worst. And so I started looking in kind of a way like, well, we'll find her here in just a second. I'll see her down here, and she'll answer. And then I was hollering at, trying to let Candace know that I was looking at the bottom, but she couldn't hear me. And so I thought, well, this is wasted effort. And then I knew stuff was getting more serious. Summer should have already answered. And then as Candace screams at the oldest, but you can tell all 3 are standing there. And she screams, "What did you do? What did you do?"
There you go.
And the oldest answers,
"Nothing,
Mama, nothing, Mama, I swear."
Right.
And you were
I
was hoping that was in this video. So there it is. You guys want to know where stuff came from? I'm bringing you that. I have all of it for the last 16 months. Just you guys gotta listen. I'm telling you, I'm gonna have to do some searching because there's a lot. You know, I thought I knew where everything was,
yeah.
but this damn phone.
That's a lot.
But yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot.
Yeah. It's definitely a
So
lot to go back through and unpack. That's for sure.
so this is what's important too, right? Like the roughhousing theory or the JWDW theory that this led me to think also, like, yeah. Right.
Definitely. That definitely opened that door for sure.
Yeah. Don grabbing JW over. Yeah. Come to the interview. It's kind of scary, but Don didn't really know yet, like really all of the extent of it. Like Don was the one talking to everybody, like because he always puts his foot on his mouth. I just always work, you know. Basically, all I'm doing. Why would I be? How would I know what's going on?
And that's always what's been weird to me is that how was Don the spokesman for this whole situation when allegedly he wasn't even there and all of his information is then secondhand information.
Right.
So shouldn't it have been Candace doing all these news interviews and all this instead of putting Don out there for him to tell a story that he only knows because it's what he's been fed?
See, there's a lot of theories that, like, I'm just giving you one for I throw in for the timeline if she's alive or not. We have ones on my channel where we did, which she's alive all day long and with going on the trips and then not going at all. Like, you have to wonder, right? At this point,
Definitely.
Did they ever leave? And when was the scream? Because like a lot of that could have happened like a little bit earlier. Like then I'll take care of it. You boys stay here, stay in the house. I'll lock the door so you don't go in or out. But why would you lock both the doors if Grandis has to go inside to pee or use a bathroom? Like, you have to keep them open. You can't lock all the doors.
No.
So what is it?
And it didn't make no sense to me either if they're thinking, oh God, somebody's came up here and kidnapped Summer. Why are you going to send the 3 boys out to go look for her?
People are trying to screw up the timeline. It was pretty much, well, Candace and Hunter. Part of Hunter's job was screwing up timeline because, hell, give him so much to happen in a day. Know that he's not going to remember everything. You got him inebriate him. You got him high and everything else. Yeah, he has no clue what the hell's going on. Didn't sleep the night before.
Not.
Yeah, he's not going to be reputable, is he?
No.
No.
No, that kid was so confused. He didn't know left from right.
No. See, that's how everybody is right now in the case. That's what it was meant to do. What they were meant to do. They're trying to cover up a crime, right? Yeah, someone's trying to cover up a crime. Who is it? I don't know. Everything's a lot pointing to Candace more so than a lot of people, right?
Yeah.
At what point do we bring in other suspects if we don't need to bring another suspect? I don't think we need to bring anybody else in yet.
No.
Not yet.
I don't think so either. I mean, at this point, you can't even cross off the people closest to it, so there's no need to really look any further until you can cross
Don's
them
moved down my list. Don's moved down my list. Grandis is lower on my list, like underneath Candace. I mean, Candace seems to be the root of all evil. She's always wanted to get rid of Don. She's cheated on him so many times. Really, like, what are they staying together for besides except their lifestyle works with each other, or they hold a secret that they can't leave each other for? Right? If you can't leave, did I miss something? I'm on a different screen. So Candace guilty. Yes, 73% says no, 10%. Don guilty, 5%. Third party or other, 12%. Thank you for voting. Yeah, they know this. I mean, it's got to tell you a story of like the whole phone call, between Hunter, like wanting to know what's in her phone and him. What did he switch phones so she didn't realize her phone was gone? Does any of this make sense? Like, how could he take her phone when she didn't realize it's gone? Like, you're sitting next to her, Hunter. Or why are you sitting in the back seat if it's only you 3 and you have to be sitting in the back seat because Grandis is supposed to be with you guys? So that's why you didn't remember where you were in the back seat, right, Hunter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Oh no, is that the truth? Or maybe you're the one in the front seat. If that video's from that day, maybe you're talking and you're the one like to remember when I have it. Where like, is her arm still up? Remember that video? Is her arm still up?
Yep. Yeah.
Who's in the front seat that's recording it? Is it Grandis, really? If it's that day?
That's what Candace says.
It'd be
but I
impossible
mean,
if it was that day because Grandis never went back to the swim hole after going to the doctors in the morning. Goodbye, Karen. Good day. Have a good night. Oh, save our bees. Goodbye, save our bees. Bye now. Uh-oh.
bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
See you later.
Right? That it could be, but why did she only ask the older one? Let's hear how Jody says it again.
Started putting that noise we'd heard together with, and so I started looking. Yeah.
What do you remember? Did she say what time this was again of day? I think they leave out the exact time because like nobody remembers time out there. Remember, nobody's good with time. Hunter's not good with time. Nobody's good with time.
Right.
Candace is not good with time. Don's not good with time. Nobody's. Yeah, I can't remember. You know, I was always working. I just don't know.
No,
And
I
then, yeah,
don't.
Candace
I don't
know
think
what
she
time is.
actually. I don't think she had. Not in this. She didn't actually give a time. No.
Mm-mm.
There may be one later on when
Around
she
here.
does, but I'm not sure.
Right.
Boy, like, well, we'll find her here in just a second. I'll see her down here, and she'll answer, and then I was hollering at trying to let Candace know that I was looking at the bottom, but she couldn't hear me. And so I thought, well, this is wasted effort. And then I knew stuff was getting more serious. Summer should have already answered. And then as Candace screams at the oldest, but you can tell all three are standing there. And she screams, "What did you do? What did you do?" And the oldest answers, "Nothing, Mama, nothing, Mama, I swear."
And you were
My
that you
stomach
saw that.
dropped, and I knew it was absolutely serious. And that mom thing comes hold, and the frantic becomes the pace.
So, did Candace ever say that scream ever happened? Does Candace remember this?
Not that I can remember. No.
Does anybody remember Candace ever
don't-
saying the scream actually happened to anybody? Or is that Jody
I-
Sue's story? And she's
I can't remember Candace ever saying anything about her screaming or nothing. No.
the same one that wears glasses and was sleeping and then wakes up and sees a red truck, but yet she doesn't have her glasses on yet and she's just waking up. How's anybody's eyes functioning at all? And then she changes it to a red blur.
Yeah.
The same lady, right?
Yeah.
Maybe she's not seeing or hearing what she's actually seeing or hearing. Is this lady crazy? She's a little wackadoo, isn't she?
Now that's entirely possible. I think the jury might still be out on that one, but it's entirely possible that something is not clicking right up there.
Or it's entirely possible she could be telling the truth, right?
Yeah,
Opposite.
that too. Like I
I
said,
don't
jury,
think-
kind of jury's still out on that one. I haven't really decided.
God, when people hate people, they'll
think
make a lot
there's-
of stuff up too. Like their daughter's always running around, like get them in trouble with CPS or do whatever you have to do, right? Like,
Right.
I mean, I get Candace and Don aren't great parents. Hey, Candace said she wouldn't have heard the scream because the boys had TV volume up pretty loud. Well, then did it happen? Why would Candace yelling, "What did you do? What did you do?" Well, I mean, how close was the scream if it was really there? I mean, the dog's barking and maybe one fighting or mating. Like, was it a scream of a person?
I don't
But
know.
yeah, she would have heard a scream. Of course she would have, because she was right there. I mean, Summer was right in the front, right there, playing with her toys. The boys were right inside. Matter of fact, like if Summer walked into the house after getting the peppermint, right? If she actually walked to the house, she'd have to go past her brothers. Somebody must have saw her.
Yo, see if you
She wasn't
remember.
abducted right out of the. Yeah, she didn't go downstairs and then get abducted. People, someone wasn't waiting downstairs in that bedroom to take her. That's
Yeah, I
not
was
how
gonna
that
say
works.
if you remember, that was Candace's story. Was that when she went back into the house from fixing the knee brace, and she asked the boys, "Where's your sister?" And they said, "Oh, she went downstairs to play with her toys." That was her story originally.
Why all of her toys were upstairs on the floor? All of the best toys were up there, right?
Well, yeah, that's what
Her
she had
favorite toys, at
said.
least.
That's
Because
what she
Candace
had,
pulled her away
yeah.
from that to go repot cactuses. She jumped right up again, right from there.
Yeah.
Candace says she jumped right up all this time, every time jumping right up. With a seatbelt on, she jumps right up. How does that work? I mean, you had a 5-year-old driving in a car without a booster seat. What kind of parent are you in the first place? Lean her on some milk.
Oh, sit her on a pillow. She'll be fine.
What pillow? The one that Candace used to pee on when on long trips?
Yeah, I
Gross,
guess.
Candace.
The pee pillow? Ugh.
Yeah, I remember
God.
everything. It's gross.
That's, oh God. I actually
It's
had,
gross.
I tried to forget that, but yeah.
No food? Anything that day. Who doesn't eat? Drug addicts usually, right? Like Candace didn't eat it all that day either. Like nothing. Nobody.
Yeah.
Nobody was hungry, especially the 5-year-old who had energy to swim, do this, do that, do this, do that.
Yeah.
Makes a good story because, I mean, obviously she didn't drown that day either. Or did she? I mean, because if Hunter, did Hunter not save her fast enough? If that's what really happened, and did that TikTok have to cover that up? You know, maybe it was an accident at the swim hole. I don't know. But why go swimming when you don't have anything? Because it was originally fishing. And how are you going to go
Right.
fishing if you don't have poles? No towels and nothing. Like, no.
Yeah, see, that's,
Just for
well,
30
that's,
minutes? You're going to do all that just for 30 minutes to waste time to whether medication will probably be done in 15 or less? Like, you're really not waiting at Walgreens that long. There was no reason to throw in a timeline at all or go anywhere. Right? There really wasn't. Like, why go run all those errands? Why go to the supermarket, do all that stuff? Or why not just go to the supermarket and then back to pick up your Walgreens and go? Like, what was all the added trip for? And why are you going to take just your daughter there and leave your sons at home to do nothing for hours till 3:00? Or do they just sleep till 3:00?
these are all good questions. I mean,
Yeah, just
it's
common sense. Why?
things to think about.
So what part of the timeline do we really need to focus on? Like, I'm saying, like the morning time, like right, like
Yeah.
up to the point she says she changes Summer over at Hunter's, like, and changes that, or Hunter says that she changes over there, like, because that means that she left the hospital and went straight over there. That wouldn't make Summer with her, if in fact that, you know, because she would change there. But they have to make Summer be there with her. But they also went back to the house to go get her. Like, you can't do that. I mean, Hunter went back to the house that he shouldn't be at. Yeah, all that stuff wouldn't happen the normal way.
No, you can't
Yeah.
have it both ways. That's not possible.
Yeah, her body could have been moved several times, laid somewhere, put somewhere else. Multiple people could be involved afterwards. It could be Grandis grabbing her and leaving state with it. You never know. Grandis took off shortly after. Dawn says she got out of here right before it hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because she's the smartest one, right?
And heard it.
I was at the bottom of the hill. I didn't see it, but I could hear
Oh,
it.
okay.
All three boys
Sorry, I didn't mean to
were
cut
right in front
you
of
off.
me.
I-
I knew they had met back up at the same place.
You could tell
Who cares
she
about Dawn?
progressively got more on like chewables. She was chewing up some medication or something towards the end of this, because when she started slurring, really, this is where it really started going bad for her. I don't know if something happened stroke wise or something. I'm not trying to make fun of her. I'm just saying at this point it could be something medically, but like this point it got real bad for her for a bit. Started going downhill.
It definitely did.
And Candace so much, and they're actually bringing them food, money, this and that, because they're getting funded by somewhere.
Well, at first it was the community, you know, I mean, just concerned people as a whole that thought maybe, I guess, parents didn't do it. Church stuff, it's kind of what the South does. I think some extras and leftovers from like the command post were coming, but at first it was really stuff sent for the boys, like clothes, toys, things like that, and the cops would bring it up because nobody else was really allowed there. We were allowed up there because we were neighbors and stuff, and so we'd take casseroles and stuff from the other neighbors that didn't want to go up there, things like that, you know. But it was mostly stuff for the kids that were being scared. And Now the money
So
really started from everywhere. It seemed
yeah,
like
money did, didn't it?
rather
Were you-
quickly, and then it definitely was starting online very early on.
Were they selling dogs, or were you dropping off dogs and they were selling them, or what was going on?
I
with
wasn't
all?
dropping him off. My favorite dog kept being kind of stuck over there for some reason, and wasn't like
So you're saying your dog was a stud?
him. And then because he looks like a husky, and when the pups are first born, they look
Like her dog would have been barking.
so,
Nobody gets into that holler and out of that holler without
oldest
neighbors even
are
yelling.
gonna be sold off
No.
as. And then, I mean, they're notorious for dumping dogs and things like that. And the other neighbors had threatened to call the police on them if they ever saw that happening again. And they took some of them, got them fixed, and now are the owners of. And after that, it kind of slowed down a little bit. Now that summer's gone missing, they've kind of been forced where they've kept these longer than any others. So,
All right, let's just play a few to get out
Live
of here. I'm going to keep you thinking. Here's the proof that
I hope
Don knew
she'll,
Hunter and Candace were having a relationship of some sort. And he wasn't allowed over. Andy is Andy Bernard, her Andy. Yeah,
That's the Andy.
her ex Andy.
Send now. It shows that Hunter and Candace Blywells were alone at some point on June 15th, 2021, when Summer got gone, and that Hunter had been
They
back
were.
to the house. Has Don Wells ever had his suspicions about Hunter and Candace? Here's a screen.
Look at the spackle on his neck. He goes nowhere without spackle. Like that. It's basically I just work all the time. Yeah, you look like you do.
Shot Don Wells.
He wears that spackle
Thank you,
from
guys.
oh.
Candace video chat on June 4th at 3:41.
So here's a video chat from June 4th, you guys.
Screenshot Don Wells sent me of Hunter contacting Candace through video chat on June 4th at 3:41 p.m. Now the video call ends. He says, "Yo." She says, "Get back." He says, "Come visit me." She says, "Okay, after I get Grandma from the hospital." Did Grams go with you or stay with Allie? Stayed with Allie. Oh, okay. Yep. So
What does this tell you also? Okay, after I go get Grandma from the hospital. That means she likes to drop Grandma off and go do whatever she wants to do. Candy likes to dip with some candy with whoever she got. Candy ain't faithful, that's for sure. Candace, like she's running around like grabbing drugs, doing whatever she needs to do. She's got her little shtick. Just like Don has his little thing with like the hookers in Knoxville, right? Crack. Yeah.
No, there's no telling what all kind of stuff she was doing while he was working all day.
But listen, the whole main thing is like they're not supposed to be talking on June 4th. Like Don already cut this off.
No,
Don already stopped this for the relationship that was going on or whatever he caught them doing. Like he found the porno stuff in her phone and like she was cut off before this. I have that. I think that's in this too.
notice this is June 4th and Grandma's at the hospital again. Wonder why. So why the June 15th hospital visit? Along with this screenshot, he sends me this text message that is very alarming. It reads, "Hey, also Hunter was sending Candace all kinds of weird porno crap. Then as soon as Summer was gone, they turned. Why wouldn't..."
That's weird. And Don doesn't always have to tell the truth. And when he's not using the N-word, he's usually telling the truth.
Yeah, I think he puts a lot of truth out there. I mean, heck, he even told on himself for stuff that that he has done. So I think that somewhat gives him a little bit more credibility than some of the others, of course.
Yeah. But it also says that Hunter wasn't allowed to go back to the house. And I said, did he go back to the house that day? And Candace told me on the phone that he did. And I was like, well, I thought he was not allowed there. And Don's like, well, we don't know if he actually came back here. That's what he told me on the phone.
Yeah. So Don doesn't know if he actually came back there, but I bet you Candace does.
Yeah. But why take Hunter back there? Well, it's either to go get Summer and bring her out for the day's excursion and change her into a bathing suit there. And I think that's where he remembers she got changed somewhere, but he didn't know where the hell he was at.
Now that's entirely possible too.
Yeah, why did he go back to that house? I don't know if he even planned on going there. Candace probably said something like, "I'll drop you off after we." Why would she get him, bring him back over there to get the medication, just to bring him all the way back over there? She wouldn't. She would go. She wouldn't. That wouldn't make sense in the timeline. She'd have to go home in the morning after she drops off the medication. She'd have to go home in the morning, drop off Grandis, go to sleep, pick up Summer, and then go out and do all the shopping for the supermarket, do all that stuff.
Yeah.
Right? She wouldn't have changed Summer at 7 a.m. in the morning or 7:30 a.m. in the morning to leave for the hospital into a bathing suit.
No.
So did Summer go in the morning time? Did she leave the house in the morning time? I don't know.
I don't see. That's what I don't know either. It
so.
really doesn't look that way.
I can't make it make sense.
But if you look at that swim hole video, what she was wearing in that video was not a bathing suit.
No, we saw her in a bathing suit, that little 2-piece bathing suit that they put her in, right?
Yeah, but what she was wearing in that swim hole video that she was swimming in, that was a dress. That was not. I would not consider that a bathing suit.
No. And then they weren't prepared. They didn't have fishing poles. They didn't have anything, right? Nothing.
No.
Remember.
Now I'm not sure. Like, you take your kids swimming and you don't even bother to bring them a towel. I mean, the only reason they had to change clothes.
They only owned one towel. Remember, for Summer, one towel, the purple one or pink one.
I guess. Right.
Right.
And the only reason they had to change of clothes is because it was allegedly her first day of school outfit that had been left in the car.
Right.
Which is kind of weird if it's like, 100 degrees outside and then you're going to immediately come out of the water from swimming and then put them in a long sleeve shirts and pants.
Well, you only do that when you haven't been eating because you get cold when you're hungry. I don't know how that works. Yeah, it seems like she expended a lot of energy and didn't have anything to eat from morning until night. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Turn Candace in to the for this. Well,
there's an ongoing CPS case. Did you guys know that? Did you guys know that there's a CPS case for this very thing between her and Hunter? Something
Yep, that's
to do with this? There's a CPS case out there.
Yep, that's what we were told.
So that was already known. That was already known, right?
Yeah.
Prior to June 15th. Right. So that makes Don telling me the truth, I believe, with that porno stuff, because it makes total sense, too, because we see that already. The weird stuff that's going on, the dynamics between here. 2 more videos, you guys. These are short. Then we'll come back tomorrow and bring the heat up. Hold on a second. Let me switch this over to here. All right.
Okay, so forget the red truck. Now it's a blue minivan. Are all these other lies too? I think so. Candace, you look more and more guilty as we watch more and more live. Don Wells and Candace Bly, do yourselves a favor. Tell TBI where Summer's at. We know you know more. You can't fool us.
It's over a year ago, you guys. Right? Everything came up. The blue van. The blue van was right after, if you guys remember. And then the yellow car in the driveway that happened to be Dudley. Remember? Dudley car and everything. Yeah.
Yep.
A lot of speculation.
A
Never
lot of
had to do
different
anything
vehicles
with
being thrown out
facts.
there. No.
Look at her face. It's a face only a mother could love. Nice mullet,
Can't fool
Candace.
Dr. Phil.
Oh, Lord.
You guys also thought you fooled the behavior panel. Well, you didn't fool them. You didn't fool Dr. Phil. You didn't fool us.
Escape from Bronco.
Don sounds surprised as we do.
Mhm.
You know what happened?
See? And everybody thought Don was directing the narrative. No, Don's just the fool, the criminal dude that was willing to jump on board with all these other misbehaving people, we'll call it. Right?
Exactly.
Summer.
No,
Do you know who took Summer?
no.
We actually hit harder on the questions for what happened that day. When did this happen? How long was it before this happened?
When you come home, when you first come home.
I'm not doing all that. I'm not going all the way back. I can't do this.
So listen,
Yeah.
they're trying to
No.
help. They're trying to help.
It's not helping me.
Yeah, it's not helping you, is it, Candace?
No, it's not about you, Candace. Did you forget? It's about Summer.
Alcohol, the drugs.
We did see some interesting body language.
But I want to go home.
Of course you
I
do.
came into the house. I was downstairs. And I come into the playroom and the bunk beds and everywhere, and she wasn't here at all. And when I couldn't find some in the basement, I come
You couldn't get
outside,
under the
I
bunk beds,
and I
Candace.
hollered for her and told the boys that she
Too big. You could barely get down that hole.
was back over here to my mom. Fixed my mom's knee brace when she was sitting right here in the doorway. So she walked right in the house. Fixed my mom that I have to go back in with the kid. Helping my mom with the knee brace only took like 2 to 3 minutes. And told the boys that she wasn't down there. And then I went outside and I called Donnie right away.
So where's the scream? Doesn't play into here.
Candace called.
Nope.
So she couldn't find.
She never
No
brings
scream.
it up.
No scream.
For me and call 911. So
No.
I threw my tools in the car as fast as I could. Got in there and started down the road and called 911 myself.
So this is where it looks stupid for Don, but his tools are his livelihood, and he works with some pieces of crap. So like you would think like you would just leave your tools and just go home if your daughter's missing, right, Don?
Yeah, that
Right?
would be the.
Why would you gather your tools up and throw them in the car? Why not just go? Just leave them. I get them; they're your livelihood, but damn it, they should be there when you get back. You have to go back to work, right? Leave them.
Exactly, and tools
That's
versus
what makes him
a
look guilty.
missing.
But that's Don being a guy who's worked, gone from going to prison all the time to gaining all that stuff again for like probably lost it a few times along the way again with his choices. But like I'd have to say, like his tools are his livelihood. Like his tools were that important to him. Don doesn't comprehend things like a normal person, you guys. Don's permaspun somehow. He's permaspun somewhere.
That's true.
It doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't work that way with them. You understand that? That's why it's not that weird. Right, it's not that weird to us that Don actually threw his tools in first, and I make fun of it. Like, with the tweet, I made fun of it in the interview I made for him. Right, like him on the John. Yeah, I say that reference, and it's like, because I threw it because the tweakers. Yeah, that's what he did.
Yeah,
but
it is.
And same thing. Why did you go to the first shed to look in there for Summer? And you brought something up that made a lot of sense. I guess in Tennessee, if you don't have your drugs or whatever on you, they can't charge you.
Nope.
No, right. So I think he was dropping something off illicit. Yeah. But I don't think I think that was all just him criminal thinking or thinking as like, look, I had to figure this out. Right. I'm not losing my tools. I'll find my daughter. She's not missing. But he did say something very alarming one time. He says, if anything ever happened to my daughter while I was at work, I always knew Candace would have done something.
Yeah, I do remember him saying that.
Yeah, you remember that, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I do remember him saying, he said, always told Candace to keep an eye on Summer.
Yeah.
If anything ever happened to her, it was going to be her fault. Yeah.
Exactly right. He said it. We have it.
Yep.
So he knows she did it or has something to do with it.
Or he knows that she is, at the very least, not good at taking care of the kids.
Horrible. She's not. He wouldn't trust her with the dam. Not at all. And I don't trust her. Not at all. let's finish this video and we'll go one more, and then tomorrow I'll bring you guys something that makes it a lot more sense to you guys. I think it's a good start getting people back to think that there's so many different ways that this could go, but it's got to start back at the beginning. It just has to, and we're gonna have to take it back every day. Whatever we're looking at, your guys' theories, think tanks. You guys will do some panel stuff, get you guys some call-ins, make a difference here. But I think it's important to do this. Kind of scramble people's minds up. Tonight, everybody should be scrambled and thinking like we don't even know what to think anymore. We have to go back to the beginning.
Exactly.
Yeah. Forget all the other mumbo jumbo.
All kind of cars and double yellow and everything, and I'm getting really worried. So here's my road. I pull down here. Here's the creek right here. I notice my 3 boys are together and they're over here looking. And then I look over that way and seen my neighbor coming this way towards my boys, and my heart sunk because I knew she was dead. I knew she was gone.
Just that they saw.
Thought it was a 4-wheel drive, like Ford Escape or a Bronco.
It looked like a blue minivan to me, but I don't know.
Small blue minivan.
That's what it looked like to me.
This is No Thanks Investigates, and I'll
Yeah, there's no clue.
on the flip side.
I remember when my voice was gone for like a year.
We will catch you on the flip side.
I know.
We will catch you on the flip
Oh,
side.
and
All right, you guys. I love you guys. Thank you guys for being here. Watch this on the way out. Again, I have a lot to go through tonight and get this set up. So, all about summer, right? Get interested again. Good night, you guys. Stick around. It's about a 3-minute video. You'll want to watch it. Make sure you go over to Crime and Justice, like, share, and subscribe.